allegations against police officials and members of the Justice Cluster. EWN has reliably learned that members of the task team were deployed to SAPS's headquarters in Pretoria to gather evidence yesterday afternoon. The police head office remains a focal point following allegations that 121 dockets that the KZN Political Killings task team were investigating were handed over to Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya. On Sunday, President Cyril Ramaphosa established a judicial commission of inquiry set to begin next month to probe Mkonazi's allegations.
The commission will have the power to refer matters for immediate investigation and urgent decisions.
Sibiya was placed on special leave yesterday by National Police Commissioner Fani Masimola.
The gloves are off in Polokwane, Limpopo, as alliance partners, the ANC and the SACP, are due to face off in a hotly contested by-election. This is the first time that the SACP has fielded its own candidates in an election since resolving last year to no longer contest under the ANC banner. Today, voters from Polokwane's Ward 13 will be casting their votes for a new councillor following the expulsion of EFF member Mafiwa Libalo for not attending council meetings. Thabiso Goba takes a look.
SACP's councillor candidate Obed Tabana says poor service delivery, water shortages and billing discrepancies are the order of the day in the ANC-run Polokwane municipality.
And then we have got another VD, very interesting one, the Juju Valley VD, an informal settlement where recently the ANC-led municipality went to demolish the shacks of the people of Juju Valley, saying they are not supposed to stay in Juju Valley.
ANC Limpopo Secretary Ruben Madeje says formalization of the Juju Valley informal settlement can only be brought by the ANC.
Give us a chance as the African National Congress so that we can link the ward councillor with our government. We are the leading party in the municipality, the district municipality. We are also governing the provincial administration.
Meanwhile, EFF leader Julius Malema is due to cast his ballot later this afternoon, as this is his home ward. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News, Polokwane.
The Gauteng Education Department says it anticipates that it will be provided with a report into possible abuse suffered by 11-year-old Jaden Lee Meek at the hands of his mother by next week. The department stepped into the investigation or to investigate the claims after allegations that the young boy may have been a victim of child abuse. Jaden Lee was found murdered at the doorstep of his family home at a residential complex in Vleerhof. His mother, Tiffany Meek, made her first appearance before the Roodepoort Magistrates Court this week in connection with the youngster's death. Provincial education authorities say they have reason to believe that the child may have reported the abuse to officials at Royal College in Florida, where he was a learner. Gauteng Education spokesperson Steve Mabona.
By next week, we should have a report because the other officials that are supposed to be interacting with the school and the officials from the independent schools will also do more groundwork.
And the Labour Minister in economically depressed Cuba has resigned amid an uproar over her claim that people rummaging through dustbins are only pretending to be poor and not truly desperate. Marta Elena Fetio's comments have widely been criticized both in Cuba and abroad and prompted the president to respond. She made the comments earlier this week at a session of the National Assembly in which she spoke about people begging and rummaging through dustbins in the country. Poverty levels and food shortages have worsened in Cuba as it continues to grapple with a severe economic crisis. Gold is trading at $3,335.93 an ounce. The rand is at 17.89 to the dollar, 23.96 to the pound, 20.78 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $68.97 a barrel.
In your Joburg roads, we're still seeing that accident scene on the Old Johannesburg Road. This is just after the N1 overpass. There's also a stationary vehicle on the M1, or should I say N1, the Nigel 1 northbound. This is in the western bypass at the ramp to Maritzburg Road. And then heavy traffic on the R24 West in Edenvale, Ekurhuleni. We're seeing 12-minute travel delays that's being added on there. If we're looking at your major lights out, traffic lights are faulty at Lynchard Avenue, Old Johannesburg Road intersection. Then in Midrand at the K101 at Allendale, as well as Allendale and Kenoch, currently seeing lights out there. That's where I'm leaving it. Got another update in the next 15 minutes.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng, peaking at highs between 21 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: investigators have been gathering evidence at the country's police headquarters in Pretoria following damning allegations made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Entries to the 702 Walk the Talk are open. Go to primemediaplus.com to get your tickets today.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Eight minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela show on this 16th day of July. It's wonderful to have you with us here on 702, and all the best with your plans today. I hope you're well this morning. Hello, if you are watching us from YouTube, if you want to watch and listen to the show at the same time, remember to go to the 702 YouTube page and you can watch and listen to the show right at the same time. We start with the 702 open line on 011-883-0702. Their WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Do we have a potential risk of a coup? Do we have a risk of a potential coup in this country or not? The minister in the presidency, Kumbuzo Nchaveni, who also oversees state security, says they have identified a coup, but they've put measures to mitigate against it.
We have identified it and we've put measures to mitigate against it.
Right? That's what she said yesterday. And then she went on to say, there's not been anyone attempting to do a coup in South Africa.
So that's why we say to South Africans, there has not been anyone attempting to do a coup in South Africa.
Okay, hold on. That's a contradiction. Has the risk of a coup been identified or not? Because you can't say that we have identified a potential coup, but we've put measures to mitigate against it. And then you say, we are saying to South Africans that there's not been anyone attempting to do a coup in South Africa. It's a contradiction. We've reached out to the office of the minister to try and get clarity, because if a potential coup has been identified, that's quite something, hey? And given the weaknesses in our security, in our state security and broadly, crime intelligence and our security apparatus, I worry about whether we even have the capacity to stop that in its tracks. But I also don't think that there is fertile ground for a coup, or that it would succeed with a constitutional democracy or constitutional democratic setup that we have. But if there are people planning that, that should worry us. In fact, let me let you in on something I picked up as well. So as a journalist, I mean, when there are stories that happen, we speak to different people to get different sides of the story. Sometimes that's off record. And one of the off-record chats that I had about 2 days or so ago was with someone in crime intelligence. And what they had said to me was that there's a fight, this fight that we are seeing between these cops also has something to do with the attempt to capture crime intelligence. And they claim that politicians are fighting to capture crime intelligence, and these are politicians both in and out of government. And one of the claims was that those out of government want to capture crime intelligence and create fertile ground to be in charge whatever that means. And I'm having another off-record chat before the end of the week, in fact, with the politicians accused of trying to capture crime intelligence who are outside of government. But this fight in the SAPS is bigger than all of us think, and I hope this inquiry is going to reveal it all. Speaking of the inquiry, I interviewed Shadrack Sibiya on Face the Nation last night after he was instructed to take leave of absence, and he said some interesting things, so I'll play some of those clips for you from that conversation. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts about what the minister in the presidency had to say yesterday about the potential risk, or not really a potential risk, of a coup d'etat. At 10 o'clock, we're going to have a conversation with the economic freedom fighters ahead of its 12th year anniversary in Cape Town next week. We'll speak to the party's Secretary General, Marshall Dlamini, as we reflect on the last 12 years of the organization. Can you believe that it's been 12 years since the inception of the economic freedom fighters? And I want you to also reflect on those 12 years. Because yes, the party has experienced some initial success, achieving significant electoral growth and becoming the country's third largest political party. But then it's also experienced some challenges like any other party would, some setbacks, the departure of some of the party's key figures, the decline in electoral support, the establishment of the Umkhonto weSizwe party, in fact, saw the EFF's decline in last year's elections, moving the party from being the third largest political organization to being the fourth largest party, right? The party also saw massive loss of support in KwaZulu-Natal. So as the party celebrates its 12th anniversary in Cape Town next week, these are some of the things I suppose they have reflected on. You and I can also reflect on that. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Listener's Choice feature, and today we are discussing AI hallucinations in law. As artificial intelligence tools become more integrated in society, they have raised some serious concerns in the legal profession. Legal authorities in South Africa are sounding the alarm after judges in Gauteng and in KwaZulu-Natal found that legal practitioners had admitted court papers referencing entirely fictitious case law generated by AI. I mean, the Legal Practice Council has warned that such conduct, whether deliberate or not, could amount to misleading the court, which is one of the most serious offenses in the legal profession. So incidents like this are referred to as AI hallucinations. So we're going to talk about that on our Listener's Choice feature at 11 o'clock. 11:30, we do the sharing space, and we've got an interesting story we got that one of our listeners is sharing on the sharing space today. And I'm just going to ask you a question and leave it there, and then we'll read the story much later. We'll hear from the listener at 11:30. But what do you do when you discover that your friend has been posting about your belongings as if it's theirs, and they've actually blocked you so you don't discover that? Well, we'll hear the story of one of our listeners on our sharing space at 11:30. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
702.
WhatsApp Clement
On 072
702
1702.
Morning, money major, Mwakuye Joburg. You know, Minister Chabeni. I don't think she was listening to herself when she was holding that press conference. She was contradicting herself. That's the problem we have, Clement. When we take politicians and put them to our state security department to look after our state security. No. We are in deep trouble, Clement. We are in deep trouble. A lot of things are happening in South Africa. Where is our intelligence? A lot of things are happening here in South Africa, but our intelligence is nowhere to be found. Anyway, have a great show. Mwakuye Joburg.
Good morning, Clement. A potential coup, I think, something suspect there is something. If you check, there's been people who've always been saying, and constantly so, Ramaphosa must fall, Ramaphosa this, Ramaphosa that, and how those formations quickly jump to the bandwagon of after Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. They've been saying Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi for president. And here are these people up and down with marches and so on and so forth. certain groups, certain groupings, I believe, it's just a matter of time. They will, if given a chance, there will be some. I think there's a bit of chances for a coup. Whether it will be successful or not, that is up for debate, even from Marshalltown.
And remember what the expert panel report found on when they investigated what led to the July unrest. One of the things that they flagged was the significant intelligence failures that were identified, failures to anticipate, prevent, or disrupt the planned or even that orchestrated violence. But again, the fight we are seeing here, there's so much happening behind the scenes. People are fighting for control of crime intelligence. That's part of the fight, because that's a very significant arm of the SAPS. And there's a lot of money that sits with crime intelligence. And often it's money that can be accounted for, because, these people are traveling all around. Sometimes they don't have to account for where are they using 54 million rand, or they'll tell you sometimes that 100 million rand has been spent by this. What are the details of that? Spent on what? So that secret fund that is often used in crime intelligence, people want their hands on it. How do you get your hands on it? You want to have your own officers or brigadiers or major generals, whatever, to be the ones that lead that crime intelligence, whether at national level or at a divisional or provincial level. And that's part of the information that's beginning to come out. And I really think that we need to buckle up, because some of what may come out at this commission of inquiry is probably really going to shock us. Because it's not a coincidence that what we have seen, which is what I tried to explain on Monday, that you've got the head of crime intelligence, is it Major General Khumalo, being arrested, right? Together with senior officers. After that, you've got reports now suggesting that National Police Commissioner is about to be arrested, right? After that, you've got a press briefing that comes then, that then implicates the Minister of Police and the Deputy Police Commissioner, Shadrack Sibiya. And now you're again getting the National Police Commissioner suspending his Deputy National Police Commissioner. And now you're hearing that IDEC seems to be advancing in its investigation, apparently against the National Police Commissioner. But if they do touch him or they try arrest him, how is that going to read to you? So this is all a mess, and it doesn't work for you and I as South Africans. So that's why I'm saying, when Khumbudzo Ntshavheni says, do we have a potential risk of a coup? That worries me, because I read it in the context of what's currently happening with crime intelligence and the fight within the SAPS. So maybe we misunderstood her, but as I played you those clips, she says they've identified a potential coup, but they've put measures to mitigate against it.
We have identified it and we've put measures to mitigate against it.
And then she says, no South Africans have been involved in a coup d'etat.
So that's why we say to South Africans, there has not been anyone attempting to do a coup in South Africa.
All right, Kogetso, you colleagues from the East End, what are your thoughts? Hi. Hey, Kogetso.
Morning.
Sure.
Clement.
Go ahead.
How are you?
Sharp. How's it?
Yes. Clement, I was going to say, I think for me, it's a bit of a red herring, right? Because, it's like that thing that we didn't ask this question. The question that was actually posed by citizens and that was posed by Mkhwanazi was, is there infiltration in all levels of government, right? So do we have infiltration in the legislative branch? Do we have infiltration in the executive branch? Do we have infiltration in the executive? So we didn't ask, is there a coup? About the possibility of there being a coup, it is possible, Clement, because for the fact that in this country we have people blocking the N3 highway, okay? Just one random Monday morning at like 3 in the morning, people are able to block the N3 highway and stop, with trucks and stop things from flowing to the economic hub. Shows you that it is possible. For the fact that we've got porous borders and our borders, we keep on having this influx of illegal people coming through the borders. It is possible that this country is, can be subject to infiltration by transnational syndicates, crime syndicates, and all those type of things. So that's not the question that citizens ask. Citizens ask to say, have these people infiltrated the executive? Have they? And now we need to be careful as citizens, because I feel like we have been taken from pillar to post. We're almost like being distracted. Where if we don't keep on, keep sharp about this question to say, we want a commission that's going to tell us if there's infiltration in these structures. Because if it doesn't tell us that, and the terms of reference are almost too restrictive, we will find ourselves in a situation like what happened with the Zondo Commission, where the terms of reference were so restrictive, and then at the end it doesn't give us the outcome that we seek, which is also counterproductive to us.
Absolutely. Okay, so in Eastern, thank you. Sandra, you are in Kyalami. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Clement, all this money that we're talking about, there's money there, there's money. Whose money is it?
Yeah, how, Sandra? It's our money.
Imagine, bruh. I mean, SARS, they've given even more money to SARS to improve their collection process. And here we are. I replaced 2 tires, more money. We don't have, everything's a crisis. Roads are a crisis. Water is a crisis. And here we are funding these guys that are now fighting over our money.
Yeah.
They make sure that they squeeze us, take our money, and don't give us anything. So this thing is, I don't. And when they say a coup, I don't think, it's between themselves.
It is.
There's no coup. It's just whoever taking whoever out, and that whole. It's an infighting,
yes, and that's why I said last week, Sandra, that we don't just look at the headlines of, this one is accusing this one, and then this one comes back, accuses this one. Always know that don't take things at face value. Behind the scenes, there are bigger fights you and I may not be aware of. Whether they are criminal syndicates fighting against each other, and that's been expressed in the fight between these top police officers or politicians. As I said, now there's claims of there's a certain politician. I just don't want to mention names here. But the politicians who are not in government now that apparently are trying to capture crime intelligence so that there's always going to be fertile ground for them to be in charge, quote unquote, whatever that means. And that's why I would like to also hear from them, these people that are being mentioned here. But the thing is, this thing can be political. I mean, someone else who's in the police was saying, there's also something tribal here. It's the battle of the Zulus. That's what someone said. Said, you've got the Mkwanazis, you've got the Sibiyas. At some point, you had the Teles, you've got the Kumalos, who was the head of crime intelligence, and they were trying to explain how that finds its roots in KZN. There's a whole lot more that people are always going to bring up to try and justify the fights. But there are people who are in the top echelons of the SAPS who hate each other's guts. And some of them are just trying to make sure they get their money, they get their hands on the kitty. I mean, there were reports previously indicating that just crime intelligence, that secret service account, that they were allocated about 200 million rand. And these are people who can't really account for that money because they're supposed to be spies. These are supposed to be these are secret agents, so to speak. So you could very well take 10 million and say, no, I paid an informant. How do we account for that? And that's why it's important to capture this crucial aspect of crime intelligence, this crucial aspect of the SAPS, because once you capture that, once it's your person in there, you've got access to millions and millions of rands. Let's go to more of your WhatsApps.
Hi, Clement, this is Fuem Tata. First time calling on 702. ANC iyahekisa. Indenza ndiheke, Clement. Minister in the presidency, if they've got a powerful intelligence in this country, why that intelligence can crack criminal syndicates? Why they can crack corrupt leaders? I pray that God can protect Mkhwanazi, because Mkhwanazi have enemies inside ANC. Ndivuka nalondo this morning that Mkhwanazi one enemies inside the cabinet of the ANC. Let me stop there, Clement. But it's questionable what the minister and the president saying that there's a coup d'etat, whatever it is. It's questionable.
Listen, anything is possible. Speaking of that, Shadrack Sibiya was on Face the Nation last night, and he accused General Mkhwanazi of establishing a parallel investigation that interferes with the work that the inquiry announced by the president will do.
Are you suggesting that the SAPS is doing its own investigation while this inquiry also begins to do its work?
Well, there's a team that came from KZ and that is attempting to reach certain dockets and also obtaining statements. This is tantamount to a parallel investigation, irrespective of the fact that the president pronounced a commission that should be headed by a judge. Why go out of your way and conduct a parallel investigation when the president has made a pronouncement? So we can't act with impunity, and we can't do things outside that what the president has pronounced. We must all act with the strictest discipline and with restraint.
Yeah. So that's what he said to me last night on Face the Nation. He also apologized, by the way, to South Africans for the way that top leaders of the SAPS have been behaving.
What do you then say to South Africans who are concerned about their security? I mean, we're all concerned about the threats to national security when there's such seemingly infighting in the police. Is this concern from South Africans warranted from your vantage point? Because when you guys are fighting, we are wondering if the top echelons of the SAPS are fighting against each other like that. What does that mean in as far as our security is concerned?
I want to say to the people of South Africa, from the bottom of my heart, I apologize. I apologize for what we've all been put through. As much as I want to react or to respond, I'm advised to act also with restraint. We apologize that as the top management of the South African Police Service, we behaved the way we behaved. But I've got full trust on the inquiry, that the inquiry will really reveal the truth. All of us will get a chance to present ourselves. It is my prayer that everyone be encouraged to act with restraint. Any other thing must come to a standstill, must stop and allow the commission to do its work. But anybody who goes, try to tamper with evidence or any witness of the commission, those are the people that actually must be asked to stay at home.
And do you think that you are the only one that should be staying at home? Or do you think there are other people that must be asked to stay at home pending the outcome of this inquiry?
I don't want to cry foul here. If the National Commissioner feels that I'm the only one who deserves to stay at home, let's hear what the legal process will advise. But be that as it may, all I can say is that personally, I'm not worried. I'm only worried that the police have been put in this terrible situation, into disrepute, and the damage, all the hard work and been thrown in the dustbin. And I'm looking forward to clearing my name, and I'm asking South Africans to look at it as it comes. We will testify. South Africans will make their own judgment. but I do have paperwork. Anginavalo.
All right. Time for the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Parliament's Police and Justice Committees are this morning discussing their inquiry into allegations of police corruption made by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. The two committees will hold the initial discussions on how they will approach the National Legislature's investigation into the claims of police corruption and political interference that were revealed by the top cop in KZN. Meanwhile, the ANC has backtracked on earlier confirmation that embattled NEC member and Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has made his first appearance before the Integrity Commission over the claims of misconduct. And the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority says all cancer medication used in the country meet the relevant health standards. This follows the release of a report into the Lancet Global Health Investigational Study, which found that substandard anti-cancer medications are being sold and marketed in some sub-Saharan African countries. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Right, getting into your roads, heavy traffic on the N1 South in Midrand. Average speed that you're looking at is 30 kilometers an hour, so you're going to be delayed by 10 minutes. If we're looking at the N1 southbound, there's a stationary vehicle after Old Johannesburg Road. This is from the Old Joburg Road interchange onwards. Then roadworks on the N12 westbound after Reading interchange. This is all the way to the R59 south. If we look at your major lights out, Rand Park Ridge is still an issue at N1 and Beyers Naudé is intersection. This is in both north and southbound directions. Then Randburg, Malibongwe Drive and Epsom Avenue is also currently out. Remember to report any traffic problems that you might have. You can SMS us on 31702 or share on X at EWN Traffic. For EWN Traffic, I'm Matt Flax.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
The Walter and Albertina Sisulu Foundation calling for President Ramaphosa to resign, citing his failure to effectively address the country's corruption. This in response, of course, to the president's decision to place the police minister on special leave and creating a judicial commission of inquiry. Is this a call that you support in any way?
No, it's not, and it's quite disappointing. Their call was not helpful. They want to say the president should resign. On what basis? A president can't be a coward who simply abandons ship because he's presented with a crisis.
Matthew Parks, Parliamentary Coordinator for COSATU.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
Medical aid plans, they're normally like this.
So, you'll need to take this form and this. So don't forget this too. Okay, wait. Don't forget this one. Wait. Okay, done.
My back!
Sorry, sir. That's gonna have to come out of your savings.
At Bonitas, we make our plans simple, so they're easy to understand. We also offer a benefit booster and a range of other benefits that don't come off your savings. Visit bonitas.co.za when you need us. Bonitas, medical aid for South Africa. T's and C's apply.
Of course you could take the lift just one floor up. Or you could grab the new Berry Blue sports drink from Ekurhuleni and get moving. Blue has never tasted so good. Bursting with bold berry flavor, packed with electrolytes and vitamins, and free from colorants. Ekurhuleni sports and power drinks. Let's move.
As the official retail partner of the Springboks, Pick n Pay is proud to back the box and give you the chance to be the ultimate smart supporter with Pick n Pay ASAP. Money or the box on 702. WhatsApp your name, ID number, and the word ASAP to 072 702 1702. You could face the ultimate choice, a mystery Springbok supporter prize, or Pick n Pay ASAP vouchers worth up to 2,000 Rand. It's time to show your box spirit. Money or the box with Pick n Pay ASAP. Friday on 702 Drive with John Perlman. T's and C's on primemediaplus.com.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock, we're taking your calls on 011-883-0702. Your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. I've been asking you about what the minister in the presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, who's also the minister that oversees state security, what she said yesterday about a potential risk of a coup. I think what he said was contradictory, but maybe it's how she said it. I don't think it was intended to be like that. But I think that leaves us a little confused because you're wondering, are there people trying to organize a coup or not? And if that's the case, I do worry about the capacity of our security apparatus, the capacity of our state security agency, given the inefficiencies and the deficiencies that's been found previously. Remember with the July unrest, failures to preempt. And now, are you confident when you hear the minister say that? Because I don't know if there have been improvements ever since. Huh?
We apologize as the SAPS. We apologize already. An apology in advance. Apologize for what? Come out clear. Don't apologize generally. Be specific. You apologize for this and this. Fine. Apologize for what you have put us through. What is it that you have put us through? We want to know the specifics of that you put us in. If vela aunalo valo. Tell us what are the specifics of that apology, so we can apologize to you accordingly. Anginevalo, Simon Centurion.
That's what Shadrack Sibiya said there at the end of the chat.
Clement, the deputy minister is saying is that he apologized. I just want to find out for whom he is apologizing for. Is he apologizing for defeating the end of justice, for impeding justice to be carried out on those who were made at, like the lady who was an auditor and other auditors and other people who are involved in trying to root out corruption? Is he apologizing for those dead people? Can he be clear on that one? This is Mbulelo Mpongwana from Soweto.
Yeah, he said he apologizes for how the SAPS have dealt with this entire matter, like speaking against each other in public like that and not addressing the issues internally, I would assume. But I've just gone to my previous notes to check what the expert panel on the July unrest actually found. They had released a 154-page report back in 2022 on government's response to those riots. And I read all of that report, and I had put out notes here about what they had found. One of them was that that expert panel found that the police and intelligence services failed to do the necessary to protect life and property. They were overstretched. They didn't have capacity. What's even concerning, back in 2022, they said not much has been done since the July unrest, to equip our security services. So police were still not sufficiently equipped back in 2022. And that's why I get concerned when I hear Khumbudzo and Ntshavheni talk about a potential coup. Because the first thing I think of is, do we have capacity? Do we have a state security that's efficient? Because the expert panel found that there was significant intelligence failures to anticipate, to prevent, or even to disrupt the planned and orchestrated violence. And here's what should concern you more. What the expert panel report found. They said the ANC's internal contradictions and factions are partly to blame for what happened in July, and they affect governance matters. So the internal contradictions within the ANC are impacting negatively on governance matters and need to be resolved. I mean, when I read this recommendation, I thought, damn, this organization is literally taking us down with them. Because now they're fighting. Back in 2022, the panel says these guys are fighting each other, and that's expressed where? In the capacity, in governance, in the capacity even of these state security agencies. And that's why right now, when you hear of the fights in the SAPS, top management fighting each other, ask yourself serious questions about what are they? Are there politics perhaps behind? Are there factional battles that are still brewing and we're paying the price for it? My goodness.
Marimech, Dumela Andile here. I think we are misunderstanding the minister, and let me try and come to her defense here. So when she's talking about that they've identified a risk of a potential coup, and then she obviously comes and say there hasn't been a coup in South Africa, what I think she's meaning is as they're doing analysis on their side, they've identified that one of the other means of getting rid of a president is through a coup. Not to say that they know that there's a coup that is happening in SA. So they've identified that as one of the means, and they've put measures that should that risk ever arise, then they've got means of dealing with it. So it does not necessarily mean that there is one that is currently there, but just identify that there is a potential that if there's something happens, then they can do this. I think that's my understanding of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Maybe that's what she means. Because, yeah, I was a little concerned when I heard her say this.
We have identified it and we've put measures to mitigate against it.
And then I heard her say this.
So that's why we say to South Africans, there has not been anyone attempting to do a coup in South Africa.
Yeah, but hey, I suppose maybe she misspoke or we failed to understand. But thanks for that. It's 19 minutes before 10.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
I saw a story in the Soweto newspaper today that I couldn't believe. There's an Ekurhuleni teenager that was killed tragically over 2 weeks ago during a coming-of-age ceremony when a 68-year-old woman drove into a group of girls who were singing and dancing in the street, killing one and injuring another. It's a tragic story. Thando Mahlangu, who was 13, died in hospital after she was run over in the suburb in Germiston. Is it Dinwiddie, the name of the suburb? Yeah, Dinwiddie is the name of the suburb in Germiston. And this was during an umhlonyane, so it's a coming-of-age celebration. Eyewitness News was reporting that the driver had earlier confronted the girls about why they were topless and blocking the street before driving into that crowd. And this is not too far-fetched, especially given the dynamics that play out especially in the suburbs. And I wonder if you live in an area where people are intolerant of your cultural practices. How do you navigate that? And this is not just, there are white people that don't understand it. There are black people that also don't understand other black people's cultural practices. And sometimes that causes conflict. In this case, it's tragic because it's ended up in someone dying and someone else being injured. Someone who's driving through a crowd when there is a traditional ceremony or celebration. That's just so shocking to me. I'd like you to give us a call on 011-883-0702 or send a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. Do you live in an area where people are intolerant of your cultural practices? How do you navigate that? Have you had to suppress the way that you go about celebrating and expressing your cultural practices? Give us a call. Send us a WhatsApp voice note. Mzwandile Soyaya is the uncle of Thando Mahlangu and also the family spokesperson. And Thando Mahlangu is this young woman who died in hospital after this other woman just drove through the crowd. Mzwandile, thank you so much for making time for us, and condolences to you as the family.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Can you just explain to our listeners what was happening on that day? I've seen the video. You can see that the driver the crowd tried to explain to her that, hold on a bit, we'll make way for you. But from the video I saw, she just didn't listen to anyone trying to stop her. She just drove through the crowd. What was happening there?
This is very much sad and heartbreaking for the family, let alone the family, for Amajiji, to get to witness such a thing happening. So Uthando, she's from Ekurhuleni, they were invited by a family Dinwiddie to come and assist them with umhlonyane that was taking place there. So when they got there, they then started dressing up on their attires, then moving around the block. As they were moving around the block, this lady approached them and stopped and started to ask them, why are they walking topless? Why are your parents letting you walk like that, not even dressed up? So they did explain to her what was happening. Then she drove off. So now, as the ceremony was busy taking place and all of that, 2 cars approached first. They were able to make those cars to make a U-turn.
Yeah.
Then hers, as you've seen on the video, she was coming through. They tried to stop her. Then she just ran over the first individual that was trying to stop her.
Sure.
Then she drove on top of Upriti. When she drove up on top of Upriti, then again she reversed, then stopped on top of her as if she was standing on a, what you call this thing, on a hump.
Oh,
then she drove off. Then they tried to chase her. Then as they were going up, there are some robots. Now she managed to pass through those robots, but the person who was giving chase was stopped by the traffic officers. But then she managed to go to the police station. Then they tried to take her to the nearest hospital, I think it's Petatoa. When they arrived there, they tried to give her assistance, but she did not make it.
Oh, my goodness. So this woman drove through a crowd. She could see that she drove over someone and she didn't stop. She still just drove off.
Yes, that's what actually transpired. But then when we went to the police station and when we were given explanations, we were told that she said she was fearing for her life. She felt that she was attacked, so that's why she drove off to the police station.
Wait, but was she attacked during the time before she drove through the crowd, or she felt she was being attacked after she drove over the over Pretty and injuring one other person?
She felt that she, according to her, from what we are gathering, we are told that she said she feared for her life. Now remember, as you've seen the video, that first lady who tried to stop her, right, when she moved over to the side, then she started banging onto the car. She said when that person was banging to the car, she felt that she was being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why then she drove off and ran to the police station.
Okay, did she get arrested? Where's the case at now?
It's really sad. It's really sad. Okay, when she got to the police station, just to take you a little bit, when she got to the police station, she said that she drove over, she knocked off a child, then she was told that the child has passed away. Then they said that they are opening up a culpable homicide case. On that very same Saturday, she did not sleep at the police station. We hear that on Sunday, the very same Saturday night, we took Pretty's mother to the police station. The reception that we got from there, it was really not nice. I did open up a complaint at the police station. To date, nobody has yet phoned me to say, listen, this is how far we are. But she was not arrested. We were told that she was given bail. I think it was when on Wednesday, because they told us that she said she's going to hand her over to the police on Wednesday, coming with her attorney. So on Wednesday, indeed, when she got there, she was given a 5,000 rand bail. So we appeared. I was in court. I think it was on Wednesday. The matter was not placed. When we asked why was the matter not placed, we were told that there's still further investigations that needs to take place. So there is no fairness in all of this.
Yeah, Mzwandile, this sounds so horrific. It really sounds so horrific. And once again, condolences to the family. What a tragic thing to happen during a time when there is happiness and there is a cultural event, there's a celebration. We'll try stay on the story and ask the police what's going on, and I'll come back and give the listeners some feedback on that. But thank you, Mzwandile, for speaking to us. 011-883-0702. That's the number to dial. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. 10 minutes before 10.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabota, 1 to 3 p.m.
So what are the opportunities for South African creators of all kinds, even if they want to sleep? So I can't be on TikTok live and stream while I sleep, but I could do it on Twitch.
You could do it on Twitch, but I think this is where the barrier to entry is that Twitch requires a lot more equipment than, say, TikTok on your mobile phone. You can stream from your mobile to Twitch, but it's not optimized for that. It encourages you to be on a PC, on a laptop, and then also you need a very strong data connection.
Sam Tech Girl Right, international esports broadcast talent and gamer.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabota.
Let's walk the talk.
PG Glass Repair, PG Glass Replace. I'm Komodo, PG Glass Technician. We use the leading windscreen brand, Shutterproof, PRUFE, to keep you safe.
Visit pg.co.za for trusted quality windscreens.
Smart Steve from Momentum. Hello.
Stevie, my bro, it's me, Clinton Myers, the Minister of National Treasures.
Good afternoon, Mr. Minister. How can Momentum Insure help you?
You know most Momentum car insurance protects the people better than a windbreaker in Cape Town.
That's true, Mr. Minister.
Listen, this no VAT economy is not helping with the cost of maintaining my gusheshe, my tires, man.
So why don't you drive lacquer and earn lacquer with Momentum Insure's safety return?
Smart Steve! Now you are a national treasure.
Also, Momentum Insure rewards you with up to 30% cash back on your paid premiums, even if you claim.
Nee, my lighty. Is it true?
Stru's Bob, Mr. Clint Mayers. In this economy, this cash back will go a long way.
Lekker man, Steve Bobo.
Visit momentum.co.za to get a quote. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer and FSP. Standard SMS rates and T's and C's apply. FSP 22789.
Feel the spirit of Mandela Day with Chefs with Compassion. Join us in cooking 67,000 liters of soup to fight hunger in South Africa. Over the past 4 years, we've served over 1.3 million cups of soup, from chefs to everyday heroes. We need your help. Encourage your company to back a kitchen and create a team building with purpose. Register now at cwc.org.za and make a real impact. Visit cwc.org.za today. Chefs with Compassion. Rescue, cook, feed.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
8 minutes before 10 o'clock. Do you live in the area where there is intolerance of your cultural practices? How do you navigate that? And how do you go about practicing, right, your cultural beliefs without also interfering with, I don't know, your neighbor's rights? How do you navigate that? And I don't know, I'm not so clear on what the actual bylaws say in as far as the cultural practices are concerned. Like, can we dance across the road, like go up and down in a case of this ceremony of umhlonyane, where some women will walk around and they're not dressed up because these are, they would call them amachichi, virgins. That's part of the ceremony. What do your bylaws say about that? And how do you navigate a scenario like that? Let's start with your WhatsApps.
Morning, Clement. That was such a sad story of this woman driving to a group of kids while they were doing their traditional thing. I don't think that lady that drove into those kids was not aware of what was happening there. It's in the news. It's on social media how people do what, as African people would do our stuff. I don't think she wasn't aware of what was happening. She just didn't like it. She just didn't want it to happen in her neighborhood. Yeah, that's my take. She just hated the mere fact that they can do as they please in her neighborhood. That's my take. She knew exactly what was happening. She knew they posted no threats to anybody. They were just a bunch of girls. That's my take on it.
And
it's sad. It's
and,
pure
and it does. It's pure. You're right. It doesn't matter that, or maybe they were somehow violating any bylaws. You still do not drive over kids. You don't do that. I mean, how much hatred do you have? And then the family, as you heard from the family earlier on, the same women had asked these little girls, "Why are you walking without shirts on, bare-breasted? Why are you walking like that?" And they explained to her that, no, this is part of a ceremony. It's part of our cultural ceremony, the coming of age. And then the next thing she does is drive over them. And what is she going to claim? Oh, it was a mistake, or, oh, I felt my life was in danger? Go watch the video. Doesn't look like her life was at risk at all. Ntombi, you're calling from Germiston. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. So you were in the very same area where this incident happened?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
And I think what people are missing is that this woman lives 3 houses down from where the event was happening.
Yeah.
So everybody knew that there was going to be an event. It was communicated on the group chat that there would be an event. So what happened is that when this woman approached, she was asked to stop, and she never stopped. She slacked the car a little bit. However, after that, she just read the car and went over Thando. We went to the police station. Also, we went to the court on Wednesday as a bunch of us, and there was nobody. Like, the case did not appear. So, and then the police just told us that they are still investigating and they're still looking into the case.
Yeah.
But nothing has happened.
That's shocking, Tombi. We've contacted the police. The producers are telling me that the police are saying that the case is being investigated further, but the person we called still needs to speak to the investigating officer. So maybe tomorrow morning when we start the show, we'll come with some feedback about what we've gotten from the police. But we'll stay on the story. This is tragic, and there's got to be accountability here.
Yo, Clement. Hi, Clement. Hey, this is a very, very sad story about this child who was knocked down by the car. Yeah, no, it's very sad and it's very unfortunate. But Clement, it's a common knowledge. If you happen like to hit the person by a car, like in the township, it's really not safe. I'd seen it before. The best thing is always to run to the police station, or maybe you can call the ambulance on your way there to the police station to try to attend the scene. But you cannot stop, because when the community arrives and find you there, it is so irrational. They're going to do anything and everything to you. They will really cause a harm like on you and your vehicle. So it's always best that you just run to the police station. Not that you're running away, but you're avoiding something that you know for sure that it will happen. Thanks, Clement.
Morning, Clement. Does cultural practices trump the rule of law? And please don't get me wrong here. My sincere condolences to the family. Any loss of such a young life is tragic and a total waste. But I ask now, cultural practices, does that trump the rule of law? Because as far as my knowledge goes, it's illegal to appear naked in public.
So, as I said earlier on, whether there is a bylaw being violated, that doesn't justify you running over people with your vehicle. If this woman had actually approached, I don't know, the municipality or approached the police and said, hey, I'm concerned about these women who are walking around and they are not wearing any shirts. Yes, it's part of their cultural practice, but I'm concerned about it. I'd like to lay a charge. Do whatever you have to do. If you want to raise any complaint, you've got every right to do that. And the family can come and defend themselves whichever way they want to. But that doesn't justify you taking your vehicle and going to run over people and killing a 13-year-old young woman. That's ridiculous. Go to your municipality, go to the police, call them if you have to, and handle it that way. You don't take your vehicle, and because you are so angered by that, you're going to decide to drive over people. Now there's someone who's been injured, who could be critical, and there's a life that's been lost. Goodness, spare thought for this family. It's a minute before 10.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
My name is Olinea, and what I love about 702 is the Clement Manyathela show. I didn't think that I would see Clement today.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
The Market Theatre presents the South African premiere of Fraser Grace's award-winning play Breakfast with Mugabe, directed by the 2025 Standard Bank Young Artist for Theatre, Kelvin Ratladi. This psychological thriller explores the troubled mind of the once revered leader as he battles inner demons and political paranoia. Don't miss this compelling production with its brilliant cast and searing dialogue on from the 16th of July to the 10th of August. Tickets available on web tickets or via markettheatre.co.za.
How would you like to lighten the load when it comes to getting your freight there conveniently and on time? You can with a tag. No scrambling around for cash or a card. Less time wasted. Choose the convenient way. To drive smart, download the Sanral app to link your cards and manage top-up payments for your convenience. For more info, visit sunral.co.za. Tags are the way to go. Sunral, an agency of the Department of Transport.
It's your last chance to win with the Checkers XXL Jackpot competition. Plus, save on deals like Clover Gouda Cheddar All Tussers Cheese 800 grams for $109.99 and Omo Auto Liquid Detergent 1.5 litre or capsules 14 per pack, any two for 149 Rand. Remember, simply buy any 3 participating products, swipe your extra savings card and get a scratch card to enter the competition. Deals valid until Sunday at Checkers.
Year in, year out, we're fixing tires faster than a Formula One pit crew. My team is on top of things like tire whisperers. If an unforeseen accident were to happen in my workshop, at least I've got My Way business insurance to keep the wheels turning.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Parliament's Police and Justice Committees are this morning discussing an inquiry into allegations of police corruption made by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. The two committees are also holding the initial discussions on how they will approach the National Legislature's investigation into the claims of police corruption and political interference that were revealed by Mkhwanazi. National Assembly Speaker Thoko Didiza instructed the two committees, including the Joint Intelligence Committee, to conduct their own investigations into the damning allegations. Babalondenza reports.
The two committees will hold a joint meeting for the first time today, following the directive from Speaker Thoko Didiza to conduct a parliamentary inquiry into Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's allegations. The allegations of political interference also implicate Police Minister Senzo Mchunu in alleged wrongdoing and his role in the closure of the political killings task team in KZN. Didiza said the committees must on an urgent basis investigate the wide-ranging allegations regarding security matters that have implications for the country's national security, will not affect the parliamentary investigation. Babalondenza, Eyewitness News.
Meanwhile, the ANC has backtracked on earlier confirmation that embattled NEC member and Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has made his first appearance before the Integrity Commission over claims of misconduct. Mchunu has been accused of political interference in the police force. The KZN top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made the sweeping claims about infiltration, collusion and political interference in police operations, with Mchunu now at the center of these allegations. Nokayam Dambo reports.
In a 702 interview on Monday, ANC spokesperson Mahlengi Bengu confirmed Senzo Mchunu's first appearance before the party's Integrity Commission.
The process of the party is unfolding as we speak, but he's already had a sit down with the commission yesterday.
But in a media briefing yesterday, sitting side by side with Bengu Motiri at Luthuli House, ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula contradicted this.
There's been disinformation, doing runs in social media, up to using artificial intelligence. There has not been any interaction between Comrade Senzo and the Integrity Commission.
While Mchunu will continue to perform his duties as an MP and will not be removed from the party's leadership structures, Mbalula says he was a no-show at this week's National Working Committee meeting. Nogukanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
As voting begins for a hotly contested seat in the Polokwane municipality today, some residents say they are being used by political parties. The Juju Valley informal settlement, with more than 1,000 people, has been the focus of political party campaigns for today's by-election. Polokwane's Ward 13 seat is up for grabs following the expulsion of EFF councillor Mafiwa Libalo for not attending council meetings. Tabiso Goba reports from Polokwane.
I come from Seshiu, Zone 1, Masagane. If there is an open land, we'll go and occupy there with my branch. You must go do the same.
Legend has it was these words by EFF leader Julius Malema 10 years ago which inspired the people of Seshego to occupy a vacant privately owned plot which is now known as Juju Valley. Over the years there has been a number of forced evictions in the area despite promises from political parties that the settlement will be formalized. Resident Cedric Dikhale says he's tired of the empty promises.
What's putting us at a disadvantage is because we are not united as black people. One is going here and the other there. It's not like before when we had one party that represented us. It was better. But now there are many parties. It's the same people. It's like they're playing games with us.
Residents say a number of shacks are not connected to electricity, while the communal taps regularly go dry. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News, Polokwane.
The South African Health Products Regulatory Authority says all cancer medication used in the country meet the relevant health standards. This follows the release of a report into the Lancet Global Health Investigation Study, which found that substandard anti-cancer medications are being sold and marketed in some sub-Saharan African countries. After the report, SAPRA started internal processes to verify if any of the South African registered medicines might have been affected or implicated. But spokesperson Yuven Gounden says the authority has found that none of the medicines marketed or sold in Africa are affected by the findings.
SAPRA is satisfied that the marketed and registered cancer medications meet the approved specifications in South Africa. The CEO of SAPRA, Dr. Boitumelo Semete Makokotlela, says SAPRA is committed to the 3 pillars of quality, safety and efficacy.
Gold is trading at $3,337.30 an ounce. The rand is at 17.95 to the dollar, 24.04 to the pound, 20.85 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $68.89 a barrel.
Getting into your traffic details, there's a collision on the N1 northbound. This is at Rivonia Road. It's going to be pushing your travel time by 10 minutes. Then there's a stationary vehicle on the R21 southbound. This is as you approach the OR Tambo Airport turnoff. You're advised to drive carefully if you are going to be using that ramp. Roadworks on the N1 southbound. This is the Danny Joubert Freeway. Roadworks will be in effect from now right up until 12. The ramp to the N4 shoulder is currently closed. And then looking at your major lights out, there is currently in Midrand at the K101 in Allendale, as well as Allendale and Kanoch Road, Rand Park Ridges N1 and Bears Nordier, and then Malibongwe and Epsom Avenue are currently out as well. Got another update coming through in the next half an hour for EWN traffic. My name's Matt Flax.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 21 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: Parliament's Police and Justice Committees are this morning discussing an inquiry into allegations of police corruption made by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702 listens.
We are listening to you. You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
9 minutes after 10 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. I want to wrap up the conversation we had just before the news about this tragic incident in Germiston, where a 13-year-old young girl was killed because some woman didn't understand that this group was having a coming-of-age celebration. And clearly she was unhappy about it because she asked them, "What are you doing?" And they explained that the reason we look like this and we are dressed in this way is because there's a cultural ceremony. But she decided to go get her car and drive through the crowd. Now there's a 13-year-old child who's been killed and another one who's been injured. And we cannot justify this nonsense behavior by saying, "Oh, but what do the bylaws say?" When someone violates, or you think they're violating a bylaw, you go to the police, you go to your municipality, do whatever you have to lay a complaint. You don't take your car and go drive over people. Here's some of your WhatsApp voice notes that came through.
Morning, Clement. Oh my goodness, I'm absolutely shocked and horrified at the story about the little girl being killed. I cannot understand that woman's behavior. She knew they were children. Other people had turned around without being affected. So it was just a really horrible thing.
Good morning, Clement. Firstly, you have to look at the old woman's age. She's above 60, which means she was probably born somewhere during the apartheid era. And for some people, it's hard to outgrow the mentality that they were brought up with. So the ceremony was communicated through the community WhatsApp group. She knew what was happening. And there was actually no way that she could be angry at young girls walking bare-breasted in the community, because she can see that this is a ceremony. It's a cultural ceremony. There was actually nothing wrong that was done there. Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that she's 68 and she may have been born during apartheid and she hasn't outgrown that mentality. No, guys, there are people I know who are 68, who are white, who were born during apartheid. What are we suggesting? They must think that I'm subhuman because I'm black? No, there are people who are 68, who are even older than that, who don't subscribe to that mentality. And if you are 68 or whatever age you were born during apartheid and you still have the mentality of apartheid, you still think black people are subhuman, then you don't belong in this country. Maybe leave. Go to Europe or anywhere else, Asia, wherever. But you don't belong here if you think that because you were born during apartheid, then you still have some kind of mentality. We're going to stay on this story. We're going to get the police tomorrow on the show because we need to know, and I hope they're not treating this woman with kid gloves. We need to know, what have they done? Why did they release her on Saturday? And where is the case at? We're going to keep our eyes on this because this is absolutely unacceptable. It's 12 minutes now after 10.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702.
All right, we start our conversation now with the economic freedom fighters ahead of the party's 12th year anniversary celebration. That's happening in Cape Town next week. And we've got the party's Secretary General, Marshall Dlamini, in studio with us as we reflect on the last 12 years of the organization. Can you believe it's been 12 years since the inception of the EFF? I want you to give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note. What are your own reflections of the organizations? You can join this conversation. Maybe you've got questions for the Secretary General of the EFF. You can call us on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Marshall, welcome to 702. How are you?
Fine, brother. How are you? And morning to the listeners of 702.
Thank you so much for coming through. 12 years, that's quite some time, and you have made obviously an impact as the EFF in our political landscape. What's your reflections as the organization when you look at your growth politically, ideologically, and even through your structures on the ground?
Look, it's been 12 years of hard work, 12 years of unbroken struggle towards economic freedom, 12 years of fighting for the return of land, 12 years of fighting for massive industrialization that will create a lot of jobs, 12 years of fighting for free decolonized education, quality healthcare, 12 years of fighting for nationalizations of mines and other strategic sectors of the economy. Since 2013, we've been on this and we've grown. We've had our own challenges, but we've got more impact that we've made in society. We're sitting with over 1,200 public reps all over the country, from national parliament, provincial legislatures. All municipalities were represented, almost all the municipalities in the whole country of the 264 municipalities. We have made a lot of impact, but more than happy, we conscientize our people. If you can go to a shop floor now and see the response and the confidence of a farm worker there who doesn't take nonsense, who doesn't bow down to white supremacy and racism. Mm-hmm. That's the EFF. The consciousness on the issue of the struggle of this country, that until the land has been returned, there can never be freedom, meaningful economic freedom.
Yeah.
We have to go back to the basics. When the settlers arrived here, the first thing they went for, it was our land, it was our livestock, because they knew that's where the economy is. And we're happy with that consciousness that when we see our people, even people that you might think they're not interested in politics, when you speak to them, they know that the EFF, it stands for the return of land. That is a message that is found everywhere. And you know what makes us happy, Clement, it's when you are just driving in an ordinary town and you see someone that he doesn't know you, you don't know this person, is just a fighter walking, wearing his red T-shirt. And is part of society. It's his daily clothing to show that we've built an organization, we've built an institution now, that it doesn't need a group of friends or a clique or people that know each other. That's why I'm saying we drive all over the country where people will just pass each other in the shop, is wearing an EFF T-shirt. They don't know you, they don't know each other. It's just part of life. It's who we are. So we have built an institution, an organization that exists everywhere in the country. We've made strides in the continent. You know that we've got EFF organizations in the continent. There's about 6 to 8 countries in the continent that are not saying we just agree ideologically. They are EFF themselves. They are championing and fighting for our policies because we've got the right policies.
So what do you still want to achieve then as the EFF? Do you see yourself governing? And I'm asking that question because there are some critics who often say the EFF has reached a ceiling, especially when you look at your performance in the previous elections. What's your response to that? Do you think there is a possibility still that you can get 60% of majority at some point, or your chance in government is going to depend on forming alliances with other parties?
No, most definitely, Clement. If you analyze even the last year's elections, where the ANC dipped to 40%. We're going to pass each other with the ANC. The EFF, it might drop that percentage. We know with the impact of the MK in KZN. But all our other provinces, about 8 provinces, we remained with our numbers. Where we had that loss was in KZN. In the impact of MK, that is disappearing on its own. So we remain the only solid organization, and we've proved that last year when everyone else thought the EFF is going to be dead and buried, including yourself. You said this is the end of the EFF. People are...
I never said that.
People are leaving. Media. But you said people are leaving. The EFF is this. We demonstrated that we've built an institution now that exists. So we are confident that we're going to take over this country. As things stand now, our structures, not even when everything were with those challenges, none of our structures moved, to demonstrate that we've built the base, including, by the way, in KZN, our structures, they remain solid from branch levels, regional up to provincial levels. So I can tell you now, for a fact, that we are the only solid organization. The ANC is disappearing. You know, at the foundation of the EFF in 2013, people, they like to say, no, the EFF was formed because of anger and everything. On that conference, when we met in that conference, 26 July, that first assembly on what is to be done, there were questions that were asked there. The first question was that, do we remain in the ANC and we fight and try to correct the ANC internally? The second question was that, do we form sort of an NPO that we're going, a lobby group that we're going to try and lobby the ANC? The third question was that, do we form an alternative political party? Because of the analysis that we did back then, that the ANC is going to die a natural death. When the ANC dies a natural death, whether there was EFF or not, the ANC was going to die a natural death. So we have to form an alternative.
It's so
and we remain that alternative that we are forming.
It's interesting.
And we are patient with our people.
It's interesting listening to you say that, because it sounds like what Fred Shivambu is doing now. He's trying to find an alternative to the MK party, so to speak. He's trying to do his own analysis as well. So it's almost like he's employing the same strategy that was employed when they wanted to leave the African National Congress. But we'll get into that later on.
Yeah, that's a non-issue.
Yeah.
Let's deal with issues.
So I want to ask you, though, about the growth of the EFF, because the reality is, when you look at KZN, the ANC, a lot of the parties were affected there because of the MK party. But then when you look at your strength and your growth in other parts of the province, you're not seeing significant growth. You're holding the numbers, but you're not seeing significant growth in other parts of the province based on previous elections.
Yeah, we're not, the numbers, they didn't grow as much as we wanted. But remember, any institution that you build, the first thing you have to consolidate the foundations of the organization. And that's the stage where we had to pass to make sure that it's not some popcorn arrangement. Remember, there were parties that grew the first elections, they just went down. So part of what we had to do and we are happy about is that we have built in the last 12 years now, we're turning 12 this year, we have built that foundation, and the foundation is solid on all corners of the country. So where we're entering now, we're entering a new decade. Remember, that was the first 10 years of building.
Yeah.
First, we have to build that organization so that it does not disappear. And we've achieved that. From where we are now, the foundation is laid, it's solid, we know it has been tested and it can move. So what we need to do now is to start putting the building blocks of taking the structure upward, which is what we're doing on this second decade of the EFF, of taking the numbers up, because you can't take them without that foundation. And that is why if we look at the KZN, is that we had to get that foundation, because you can get 200,000 votes. Now, tomorrow they can disappear if you don't have that solid foundation. So to us, it was important that to make sure that we've got an organization, that foundation must be solid.
Yeah.
And that is what is happening all over the country, that we've got the EFF. What we're focusing on now, obviously, with going to conference and reviewing our structures and how do we organize, where we went to remove the regional structures to sub-regional structures now, because those structures that were there, they were far from our own communities where they were supposed to be leading, and the leaders that are supposed to be leading at that level. Now we've dissolved them. We are working. We've got sub-regional structures. This weekend we're starting the conferences where we're electing leadership at a sub-regional level, because we'd had a leader. Let's take Capricorn region. You'd had a leader that stays in Polokwane, but you've got 4 other sub-regional municipalities, and you find out that chairperson can't service all of them. And these municipalities, they are local municipalities. That's where our communities are found. So we've taken our leadership, our structures there now. If we are from Mzimkhulu, where I come from, you don't have to have a responsibility of presiding over 6 other sub-regions. You're going to lead exactly where you come from, which means now you're going to be in the direct and daily interaction with our people and servicing our community.
Do you think that the structures that you have strengthened now will withstand any potential risk of a new party that comes up? I mentioned Floyd earlier. He may be starting his own party. And yes, I'm not trying to compare his potential party with Jacob Zuma's party, because Jacob Zuma is a former president. He's got more support. He's from KwaZulu-Natal. But are you saying that should there be any other party, whether it's run by Floyd Shivambu or any other political leader, your structures on the ground are strong enough to try and avoid support being eaten from within?
Definitely. That's why I'm saying we're coming from elections where we have proved that whatever that happened with our structures, they remain the same. They remain solid. That anyone can form any party. I can tell you now that they will never stand the might of the EFF. We are at that stage now. We're on the second decade.
Well, the MK did.
The MK did what?
Yeah. I'm saying they did challenge the might of the EFF.
But that's what I'm saying, but only with the KZN block, because it's the second biggest voter block in the country. So you can do that with that province. But even with that, that's why we're not scared, because if you look at the other provinces, we're bigger than MK. It's only in KZN. And we know exactly what transpired there. That's why we're back there rebuilding those structures. That's why I'm still saying to you, because if they were a party, and as you correctly said, the KZN with Zuma, if they were a party that could challenge us all over the country, they would have done that in the other provinces. Yeah. But we remain bigger than them in the other provinces, except what happened there, and it's something that we're dealing with. But we remain solid. That's why I'm saying no any other party can be started, but I can tell you now, going forward, our future prospect that we're going to take over this country. We don't need the coalition and everything. Obviously, the politics are changing. we're going to get into the coalition politics, but eventually the EFF will ultimately lead this country because of the institution that we've built. You can see the young leaders that are coming up in the EFF showing the future of this organization, that we're an institution. Every day when we think there's an issue, a new leader comes in. We still got a lot of them that we have not even brought into the mainframe of politics. They are leading in the regional structures, in the branch structures, in the youth structures. So we are a solid organization.
Speaking of coalitions, do you still have the appetite to work with the ANC? Should that door open to be in the GNU with them, seeing that the current GNU is literally hanging by a thread?
Yeah, once the racists are out, we're in. We were very clear. Once you remove those that are apartheid apologists, the beneficiaries and grandsons of Verwoerd, Freedom Fund Plus and the DA, the EFF will go there because this is our country. We have to protect it. We have to participate. And that's why I was saying we're that alternative. When we come in, we'll be coming into government because we know where the future of the ANC it is. Themselves, they know it. That they're going to disappear. So we have to start getting into government. But we'll never compromise our principle because if we can get into government with those racists, we'll have to respond to our members on the founding documents of this organization, the founding manifesto of the EFF that says we're a non-racist organization.
But you voted for these racists in Johannesburg, didn't you?
No, but we explained that those were strategic operations and tactics that we were to do, and they worked because the ANC never recovered in Johannesburg. We had to remove the ANC in the metros. As things work now, because of the EFF, the ANC is a rural party. All the metros, the ANC is out. So we are just fighting it now at the rural battle. After that,
sometimes you'll vote with the racists if it's strategic.
Yeah, not on policy issues. Not on policy issues, because remember, to vote for a mayor, those are just issues of local government and strategy, but not on policy issues where now we must go and deal with the policy and the laws of this country, where they want to fight against anything that talks transformation and reversing of the apartheid crimes.
How would you navigate the relationship should you get into the GNU with the ANC? Because, I mean, if we're being honest, they still sometimes behave as though they are still the governing party. Some of the decisions that they take, sometimes no consultations. And I wonder how, as the EFF, you would deal with that. Look at how they appoint. The president just decides, this is the positions I give you. You have no really say. Then there are laws that are being passed. There's not really full consultation. What would be your expectation as you get in there so that your voice is also heard?
Look, we'll go there knowing that we are working with the ANC that is in denial, that they think they are still leading the government. We won't be naive on that. We'll know that obviously we'll have to make sure that there's accountability and we do our part. So we won't go there with the entitlement and making noise as if we've won the election. So we have to navigate knowing that you are working with people that are in denial, people that are hating, people that are trying to steal as much as they can because they can see that they are heading towards a brick wall. So you're working with an organization that is desperate for everything. So we'll have to make sure that even when we get there, like we're doing now in the municipalities where we're working with the ANC, we are making sure that we do what is correct. We represent our people, the departments that we are running them, making sure that they deliver the services. There's no corruption that takes place in those government. But whatever that they are doing in their own corner, we hold them accountable inside those mayoral committee meetings and inside the legislature. So we'll continue doing that even in national government. But you would know that we are going to working with people that are desperate and they do everything just to hold on to the little power they have because they know that their future is and their fate is sealed. Yeah.
You would want to have a say there, though, on appointments to cabinet. You're not just going to sit and say, I mean, yes, it's a prerogative of the president, but would you want to have a say?
We'll definitely, if we are there, we'll definitely hear our voice. But we're not going to disrupt the institutions as they are structured because the issue we have to deal with the ANC as individuals. So we will definitely have a say, but we will go in there knowing that you've got the minority vote. The voters have not given you the majority vote to run and govern this country. But definitely our voice will be made. We won't go there and be sheepish in our approach just for the sake of positions. And if it doesn't work for us, we'll walk away. We have done that before when we had deputy mayors. Remember, EFF is coming, KZN, we had 9 deputy mayors. But when we saw that we were working with the IFP at that time, they are not doing it in the interest of our communities in those areas. We met at the Central Command team and we issued a directive that all our deputy mayors, they are resigning, all of them, and that's exactly what happened. Okay. So that's exactly what we'll do. If we get to a situation that this, what we're trying to do and persuade these people, it's not in the interest of our people, as they're running what we call now a failed state, and they've got no interest of changing that, we'll have to take a decision.
All right, it's going up to 10:31. Up to the latest in Eyewitness News headlines, we'll continue this conversation with Mashal Dlamini, who is the Secretary General of the EFF. Remember, you can watch this conversation on YouTube as well. Just go to the 702 YouTube page if you want to watch and listen to this conversation at the same time. You're welcome to give us a call, send us a WhatsApp voice note as well if you want to join this conversation, or maybe you've got a question for Mashal Dlamini. Sfiso, hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The EFF has sent President Cyril Ramaphosa a lawyer's letter asking him to clarify his actions in relation to suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. The party does not believe Ramaphosa's actions related to his cabinets in the wake of corruption allegations against Mchunu are sound in law. Primarily, the EFF argues Ramaphosa doesn't have the powers to put a minister on special leave. The R71 in Limpopo has been closed off to traffic following a massive crash this morning, which has resulted in explosions. It's understood a truck carrying gas cylinders crashed and caught fire in Mahobeskloof, causing multiple explosions, and it also sets a nearby plantation ablaze. And the Trump administration has deported 5 undocumented foreign nationals to the Kingdom of Eswatini. The deported men are nationals of Vietnam, Laos, Yemen, Cuba, and Jamaica. Earlier this month, the U.S. deported 8 other migrants to conflict-plagued South Sudan after the Supreme Court authorized the move. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Getting into your traffic details, there's currently bumper-to-bumper traffic on the M1 South. This is within the Johannesburg Central region. Average speed that you're looking at is you're going to be slowed all the way down to around 10 kilometers an hour. 26 minutes that you're going to be adding to your travel time there. There's also a stationary vehicle on the R24 eastbound at the Galulis interchange, and then roadworks that we're seeing on the N12 westbound after the Reading interchange. That is the ramp to the R59 south that is predominantly affected. Traffic lights out, we're seeing in Bramley at Crawlett and Oxford, and then in Rand Park Ridge. This is at the N1 North and Bears Nordia, as well as N1 North and Malibongwe. That's where I'm leaving it for EWN Traffic. I'm Matt Flax.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Get ready to fuel your stride with a delicious cup of Milo at 702 Walk the Talk, packed with 6 vitamins and 3 minerals to help power your walk from start to finish. Swing by the Milo van for a tasty boost and experience the same energy that fuels South Africa's future champs every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Can you hear that? That's the sound of someone discovering value cement at only R84.90. And yes, that's a free cappuccino while their paint is expertly mixed at 10% off. They've entered a wild world of unbelievable DIY deals, and frankly, they can't believe their luck. Join us from 17 July to 3 August for Chamberlain's famous for superb value promotion, packed with savings on DIY, outdoor, and building supplies. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Your mum was a tough woman, the no-nonsense type.
Don't you feel like a cry?
She made you cut your hair, eat your veggies, clean your room.
Don't you feel like crying?
She nagged you, grounded you, and brought you down to earth.
Don't you feel like crying?
But she was also the one who made your house a home.
Don't you feel like crying?
Now imagine buying her a house of her own.
Oh, yes!
Invest early. You'll be so happy you did. Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is a registered FSP.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702. Let's walk the talk.
25 minutes before 11 o'clock. We've got the EFF Secretary General Marshall Dlamini in studio with us this morning. I'm going to come to your calls in a moment. I see lots of questions as well and inputs on our YouTube page. I'll come to those as well in a moment. Marshall, I just want you to weigh in on, I just heard in the news now, Sfiso Zulu reports that you've written a letter to the president. What exactly are you challenging about the announcement he made about the acting minister of police?
No, we are saying to the president, he gets his powers as a president under Section 91, subsection 2 of the Constitution. And it reads clearly that the president appoints deputy president, ministers, and deputy ministers. He assigns them powers and functions, and then he can dismiss them. It's very clear. It doesn't say he can give them special leave. So where does he get those powers? That's where we are. It's because if we're talking that section, it's very clear of what he can do, and it starts and it ends there. It doesn't extend to putting ministers on special leave. What does that even mean?
What if he says the minister has written to me to request to take leave of absence?
No, he's got powers that there's nothing in the Constitution that says to him, you can go further than this and do something else. It says you can appoint or assign them functions, and then you can dismiss them. There's nothing that talking of leave of absence. If that is there, it's not. This is not some HR arrangement. There's a Constitution that says this is what you can do.
But can ministers take leave of absence? They can, right?
No, but no. If they want to go, they can go. They can just take the leave themselves. If someone is on sick leave and all those things are understandable. But him to do that and appoint another minister on top of that, because now we've got two ministers of police according to his plan.
No, not yet, because the other one hasn't been sworn in.
Yeah, but it's starting on the 1st of
and then Gwede will be out as soon as he starts.
And yes, and on the 1st of August, that's when we're going to have two ministers. Yeah. He's already said that. Remember, the president when he gives that and addresses a nation, he tells us of exactly what he intends to do. So we can't sit back and behave as if we don't know that. As things stand now, there are other state cars that are being prepared for this new guy to come in. There's more security, there's more houses, there's
and sense of security is kept as well.
A sense of security is kept as well. So if there's 5 BMWs, there's 10 now, and then and everything else that is going to happen on a country that is basically collapsed. Cyril is running what the scholars in the political science studies, they're saying he's running a failed state.
What should he have done then? Take one of the deputies to act?
No, first we were supposed to fire the guy. If you think there's enough information of what General Mkhwanazi has said, he was supposed to take a decision.
He doesn't think so, though. That's why he says, let's do an inquiry.
Then if he doesn't think so, he should have left him, and then he said, let me go ahead. I don't think.
But you don't want the minister to interfere with the investigation, so rather ask him to just step aside, take some time out.
And violating the Constitution when you are doing that, you can't do that. You can't. We are a constitutional democracy. Our Constitution is our supreme law. It has to be adhered to and followed to, especially by him as the custodian and the first respondent of this Constitution.
All right, that's going to be an interesting case. I'm looking forward to watching it closely and reading the arguments from both parts. There's a question on our YouTube page. Someone says, Clement, please can you ask Marshall there about the lady who drove over kids in Germiston? Will they do anything about it as the EFF? That's a question from Tsepo.
No, definitely. We're going to follow that one up. We think it's extremely wrong and it's cruel to do that. And our structures, they in Ekurhuleni, they should be seized in that matter immediately to make sure that there are consequences for someone who behaves like that, because we need to be a tolerant nation. We're already under siege with poverty, with crime and everything else. What we cannot do is to accept cruelty amongst ourselves. Someone, when he just decide, I mean, there are a lot of roads in that area of Germiston and everywhere else. He could have just made a U-turn and then taken another direction. But to intentionally just drive over people, that's crime, that's murder, and that person must be held accountable.
Yeah, Lihlogonolo, you're calling us from Centurion. Good morning. Hello, Lihlogonolo. Okay, Lihlogonolo, we'll come back to you. Let's go to some WhatsApps in the meantime.
And the team. My question to your guest is with regard to their outfits. They always talk about the economic freedom. They always talk about the free land, free education, free everything. But their T-shirts and beret are not for free. Why can't you offer these berets and T-shirts to your members for free? Because they represent your organization. Thanks, David.
Good morning, Clement, and good morning to the SG. Thank you so much, SG, for having confidence in us, especially in KZN. We are engaging the people on the ground. It's not like as it being put on the media that the EFF is dying. Yes, we are talking to the people, especially in KZN. The people still have an interest and confidence in the EFF. So thank you so much to the SG and the leadership for always supporting us, having confidence in us. We lost a lot, especially in KZN, but still they had a confidence and they still support us. So we will work the ground. The people are receiving us very well and they are engaging us very well. So we are so grateful for the opportunity. And cooler EFF, cooler 12 years in the struggle, we're still going a long way. One day we shall reach the promised land. The land shall be returned. All these minerals shall belong to everyone, including the black Africans. So yeah, Clement, I'm sorry to break the sad news. EFF is growing in KZN. Sfiso.
Morning, Clement, and the listeners. Thank you for your guest there in the studio. When you talk to young people with regards to EFF, you get a sense that they feel like EFF would have been a fierce, opposition to the ANC, but the issue of them seemingly endorsing the illegal immigrants problem in South Africa, it seems like it's their own undoing. And because of that, it seems like they don't have any faith in them. I just want to know what would be his response to that. EFF seemingly, supporting illegal immigrants in South Africa. Thanks.
All right, thank you for that. Let me just take Lehlogonolo as well, then I'll get Marshall to respond. Lehlogonolo, let's try that again in Centurion. Hi.
Morning, Mecha.
Sure.
Morning to you. Morning to you and the team and leadership. Morning to you.
Morning, brother. How are you?
I'm all right. Leadership. A quick background, Mecha will agree to it. I've always been an EFF supporter. When the MK came out, I started convincing people around me. I said to my kids and my wife, let's share the votes. I just want to see what the MK can do. Let's vote for MK nationally. Let's vote for EFF provincially. And my family did that. And I'm now the one going back to them and saying that, you know what? I think as the head of the house, that decision was wrong.
Hey, you're a bad head of the house, whether you're misleading.
No, but listen to this, Marimecha. Listen to this. It is because, I'm a political junkie. So it is because what I looked at what the MK has offered. And my belief, it has always been about a black child and a colored child. That the black child and my colored child must get what we've been fighting for. And I started to believe that no. I don't think the MKP can offer that. I think from my original thoughts that EFF is the only party that can take this forward. But now here's the thing, when I leader. There is a reason behind that. Why I thought MK could do something different is the fact that when I worked the ground and as a EFF member and started talking to the youth about voting for the EFF, I always came across this question that they think the leadership are not for the leadership of the EFF are not taking South Africans seriously by taking a stance on this immigration issue. And I looked at it myself, having being the one who has a father that I love dearly, that is from Zimbabwe, and that is in this country legally. I looked at it and said, they are right, because in that way, it looks like when the EFF takes a stance on illegal immigrant, it looks like the EFF says that goes against the constitution of the country.
Got it. Lehlogonolo in Centurion, thank you. Marshall, Lehlogonolo is asking the same question that was asked earlier around whether or not there's an endorsement of illegal immigrants in South Africa.
No, thanks, brother.
Welcome him back home.
Yeah, you're welcome, and we take that with humility. You know, we accept even being tested by our voters, even what it says, because to us it's about our policies and what we stand for. It's not about anything else. So even that decision when it goes, and it's not alone. Even in KZN, there are many people who are saying, this is what we did. We can see it's a mistake, and we're coming back to the organization, and we take that with humility because these are politics, and they are complex, and sometimes people, they are confronted with issues of today, and sometimes they take those decisions. So there is we don't take any we don't have any hard feelings on anyone who said, I used to vote for EFF, but I made a mistake, I went to MK.
Yeah.
That will happen. But to us, it's a growth of the organization because people like him, now as he's going back, he has tested that and then he's realized that this organization, actually, it's an organization that stands for the true liberation of our people. The issue of the immigration and the illegal immigrants, as it has been used to decampaign the EFF, we take that also with humility. As leadership, we're speaking to it now because we engage our structures. We know that there's a lot of work politically that needs to be done, and we're prepared to listen to our members and to our voters because when they talk of the issues of unemployment, they're talking of their true realities on the ground, and they will look for any immediate issue that they think this is a solution. And if that is the issue, it's something that we're listening to. We are talking not of lawlessness. We've never asked for lawlessness. We've never asked for, we're talking of an integrated continent where we're saying there must be free movements of people, but not that it must be, the people, they must not be registered and all that. We've never said that. We said for this continent to grow, you're going to need a united continent because this is a game of numbers. We need to consolidate these economies together so that we can make sure, because even the movement of these people, it's because of poverty, it's because of the suffering and the destruction of this continent. And until we bring it together, we will be there. But not that we are not listening to our people, and we take that and even now as we're going forward, we have said to our structures, we're going to have to go and listen to this matter, try to engage this matter, politicize our people, conscientize, engage with them, not to be rude to them and saying, it's either you listen to what we say to you or you don't vote for us. No, we don't operate like that. We are leadership that must always listen to our people. And this matter, it has been raised, and we continue engaging our voters and explaining it to even to young people to say, this is a matter, and you must remember when we're planning, our opponents are planning as well. They come with this message that no, the EFF is asking for lawlessness. But remember, we're a party in parliament. It means we're a party that abides to the constitution and the rules of this country. That's why we're in parliament. That's why we're lawmakers ourselves. So there's no such a thing that the EFF is advocating for unconstitutionality and disruption of the
speaking
country.
of parliament, I want us to also touch on that after the break. It's 12 minutes before 11 o'clock. Tsilidzi, AB, Patrick, I'll take your calls as well after this.
Formulated from 5,000-year-old Ayurvedic wisdom, refined through decades of modern science. For 95 years, Himalaya Wellness has been the trusted name in herbal care, caring for families in more than 100 countries around the world. Our clinically studied natural formulations, pure herbs, and personal care products are designed to support your health, skin, smile, and your baby's well-being. Bring the healing power of nature into your home. Himalaya Wellness. Live well, live herbal.
Dear Journal, day 4602 of trying to be an adult. My doctor asked me how my quality of rest is at the moment. I told him I have two problems. I struggle to sleep at night, but I also struggle to awake at day.
Aggressively realizing your age? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's simple and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Aquele. Aquele. Aquele.
Aquela.
Aquele.
Aquili.
Aquele.
No matter how you say it, one thing's for sure. Akwele is South Africa's most loved water brand, refreshing you with pure natural spring water and delicious flavored sparkling drinks. From every sip to every smile, thank you Mzansi for making Akwele a part of your everyday moments. Akwele, spreading joy to South Africa naturally.
Some walks are just for exercise, others for leisure. But this walk is for something greater.
It's team building.
This July, you won't just take a step, you'll take a stand. You'll walk through history. You'll walk with it. On Sunday, 27 July, the 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, returns. It's a route that winds through the heart and soul of our capital city. From the sacred grounds of Freedom Park to the powerful steps of the Union buildings. Choose the 8-kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4-kilometer for families and first-timers. Entries are 360 Rand for adults, 200 Rand for children under 12. Enter now on primemediaplus.com. 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, is where footsteps become footprints.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
7:02.
9 minutes before 11 o'clock. Marshall, before I go back to the calls, just quickly, I want to talk about the state of the opposition in Parliament. You are not the official opposition, but you have positioned yourself and declared yourself to be the official opposition in Parliament. And you guys have really been doing a great work in as far as holding the executive accountable. What's your assessment as the EFF of the state of the opposition in Parliament?
Look, we're doing our part. As we said, we're not going to Parliament. After the elections, we declared that the voters, they've given us the percentage that they've given us, we are going there as opposition until something changes, and we're going to do our part. And we're doing exactly. Our members, they are all over their committees, making sure that they make meaningful contributions, and we take those contributions from our own people on the ground. That's why our members, they are always on full oversight to go and look at the corrupt projects. They go to look where there's issues of criminality and corruption, and we bring those matters to Parliament because the EFF, everything that we contribute there, it comes from our own people on the ground. It's not something that we sit and organize in some small corner. That is why when we make those contributions, even an ordinary person, even the one who hates the EFF, by the way, they agree that you people are EFF's contribution in Parliament. That's why we are the main opposition, because it's not just about the numbers, it's about the value and the contribution that we are making in the debate there in Parliament, in the discourse that is taking place in the legislatures, both at national. We're doing the same. It's just that there's not enough coverage at provincial level. We're doing the same. You've seen the Mpumalanga MEC Premier when he was reshuffling yesterday, because of the EFF instant and permanent making sure that there's accountability. When the leader of the caucus there went on the issues of an MEC who went to fake signatures and do everything. That was EFF work, and the Premier, he had no any other choice except to fire that MEC. So it's happening even at local government. That's why I'm saying on the basis of no coverage. So you think we're not working there, but in all the spheres of government, the contribution is the same.
No, it's been
public
really
representatives, they're doing
it's
a
been
good
great
job,
to see some of your members and the work they're doing in the committees. AB, you calling from Greenside. What's your question quickly? Good morning.
Hi. My question is that how does the EFF pose itself to be less aggressive and disruptive and more intellectual, tangible, and diplomatic? Case in point, you were there, Clement, in Washington when the images of Julius came up on the TV. And I'm just wondering, why can't the EFF take a more diplomatic stance in their political endeavor?
So be less aggressive. Okay. AB, thank you.
No, we are not aggressive. We're just honest in the way we do our work. We hold those that are in government accountable. When we are making programs on the ground where we build houses for our people, we're not fighting with anyone. But it's just that your opponents, they will want to dictate to you of how you're going to enter the battlefield, and they dictate the terms, and we can never allow that. We can never allow an opponent to set the agenda for us. EFF in our characterization were radical in nature, were militant in our approach, because we are a revolutionary movement. That we know that at the end of the day, these small talks and everything and enjoying buffets and forgetting our people, that's where you start to miss the point. You know, sometimes if you go to these places where they call themselves diplomatic, they're not working. They can sit there for 3 hours not doing anything, and then they're talking of this diplomacy.
But your approach has changed in Parliament a little bit.
No.
Julius Malema did say the approach will change.
No. We're engaging on the issues. That's what I'm saying. But the militancy and the radicalism of the EFF has not changed. We put questions as they are. What we decided to do is that we have exposed these people that in the absence of superior logic and proper engagement, they resort to violence. So we said, let's disengage on that. Let's not give them this enjoyment of continue to beating of women there in Parliament. Let's be done on that. But the radicalism, the militancy, and the approach of the EFF on being honest with the truth and demand the truth and answers to whoever is in power, that has not changed.
Patrick, you're calling us from Pretoria. Quickly, what's your question? Sure. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
They're currently supporting, the ANC is currently supporting them and the speaker at Ekurhuleni. What will be so difficult for them to support the ANC or to work with the ANC and the GNU? And then secondly, would they work with Floyd? Should situation lead to that or votes lead to that after the election? And what is their view on Mkhwanazi? Must he be suspended or not?
All right. Thank you so much, Patrick. Will you work with Maibuye if Floyd Shivambu does register it as a party, and your views on Mkhwanazi as well? Do you think he must be suspended?
Yeah, let's deal with issues, not things that don't exist. We'll deal with things when they exist.
Floyd exists.
As what? What does he do? That's what I'm saying. It's a non-issue. Those things, they don't exist.
Would you ever consider working with him, though, as the EFF?
That's what I'm saying. That I wouldn't waste time on speaking on things that don't exist. It's like you telling me or me telling you about some dream arrangement or village arrangement. Here we're dealing with issues that exist. We're a political party.
So you'll deal with it when he...
now it's a non-issue. It doesn't exist. Because I'm going to respond here. And then when I come back here a year later, and then I've wasted the listeners' time on speaking of things that is just people that are just walking up and down. Those things, they don't exist. Let's deal with the issue of Mkhwanazi. Mkhwanazi must be supported. Mkhwanazi has came out, and then he said, these are the issues. Mkhwanazi is doing an extreme and a courageous job in KZN, fighting crime in a province where all of us, we know as this country, when it comes to violence and the murder rate that comes from that area, the criminals are just doing as they please, killing our people, and he's standing up against them. And he must be supported. And it's sad because he's being frustrated by those that are supposed to be supporting him at national government. And that's why I said to you, we've got what we say it's a failed state. And I'll tell you in quick terms, when you want to know that you're dealing with a failed state, the first thing you have to look at, it's a country that cannot protect its citizens. We've got a country where now, they are fighting extorters, where people, they go to small business and demand protection fee. This government of Cyril has failed to do that. When you're talking to the issues of poverty, that's another key point of a failed state. We're sitting with 28 million people on social grant. That means half of this country is living in poverty. We are talking of lawlessness and crime. The crime stats in this country, 25,000 murder rate a year, about over 30,000 rape crimes, about 130,000 just robbery that is happening. And then you've got a man like Mkhwanazi who's trying to deal with that. We've got a country that is, there's lawlessness, there's everything. We've got a country that the government has failed to provide basic services. On the budget that we have, 2.3 million, the state, but the national budget, the biggest expenditure there is to pay for the debt, about 429 billion to service debt. That's the biggest expenditure. So you've got Mkhwanazi that is fighting with no resources because there's less budget on police and then KZN, but you've got ministers and the judiciary, because even this judiciary that he has appointed, we were suspecting them. Remember, these are the people that have agreed to the sealing of the CR17. What if these people that Mkhwanazi is talking about, these criminals that they're part of the old CR17 document? Because why would a judiciary still sit here? We are over a year now in Palapala.
Yeah, and
they've not responded.
the judiciary has asked him to come and name the people that he says are infiltrated. So he's going to have that.
But that's not.
opportunity
But
at the
that's not.
inquiry.
You can see already that this is a judiciary that enters a different state. That's not the job of the judiciary to come and say and tell us. There are other investigations.
There's the JSC. That's part of the jury. The JSC is supposed to investigate. If there's a judge who's behaving weirdly,
the
JSC must investigate. So they're saying, come and tell us who they are so that we can start an investigation or lay a complaint secretly then with the police.
But that's what Mkhwana is doing. He's saying, my superiors, they know about these issues and I've raised them, but I can see that I must take the public in confidence as well to do that. But they are setting him up for a trap. That's why it says, even the National Commissioner says we have to up his security because we can't be naive. We know what takes place. They want to set him up for that failure. They
Marshall,
know that
2 more
this is what
questions
is done
after the news. Do you mind staying for just 6 more minutes?
No, we can take the next hour.
Okay, thanks. It's just before 11.
The world of work is constantly changing. It's faster, smarter, digital. Nashua can help your business evolve. Cut down your admin and automate manual tasks with our software. Protect your data with backup and recovery. And keep hackers out with cybersecurity. All the tech to revolutionize your business. Nashua. More than print.
To live wealthier, you need to be able to grow your assets. At Standard Bank Private, you get a team of internationally acclaimed financial experts to advise you on local and global investment strategies. Plus, being with a leader in home loans, you can start expanding your property portfolio. So, come live wealthier with Africa's best private bank. Apply online at standardbank.co.za. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
The conversation around abuse often and rightly centers on women and children, but abuse can affect men too. Many men suffer emotional and psychological abuse in silence, afraid they won't be believed. Others have caused harm and want to change. Tune in to 702 Drive tomorrow when the Discam Foundation widens the lens on gender-based violence to include every voice that matters in breaking the cycle. Remember, every time you swipe your Discam or Baby City benefit card, you help fund support, healing and accountability. The Discam Foundation, caring for the community. Every swipe counts.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The EFF has sent President Cyril Ramaphosa a lawyer's letter asking him to clarify his actions in relation to suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. The party does not believe Ramaphosa's actions related to his cabinet in the wake of corruption allegations against Mchunu are sound in law. Primarily, the EFF argues Ramaphosa doesn't have the powers to put a minister on special leave. It is not the only party questioning Ramaphosa's decisions, with the MK party also indicating that it's drafted papers for a constitutional court challenge. Lindsay Dentlinker has more.
Last night, the Presidency announced that Mineral Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe will hold the fort in the police ministry until Feroz Kachalia can act in the position from next month. The party says all ministers must have functions assigned to them, and if Ramaphosa has lost confidence in a minister's ability to fulfill their obligations, they must be reassigned or dismissed from the cabinet. The EFF says it's particularly concerned that a minister without powers or functions is entitled to remuneration and benefits without performing the job of a cabinet minister. The EFF contends that this unlawfulness is compounded by the appointment of an acting minister from outside of Parliament who will receive the same remuneration. The EFF wants the President to also clarify whether Kachalia will only act in the position arguing that it's not permissible to invoke the provision to appoint cabinet members from outside Parliament for an acting role. The EFF is demanding the President respond to all their concerns by the end of Monday. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Meanwhile, the ANC has hit back at criticism against Ramaphosa's decision to launch the Commission of Inquiry into maladministration and corruption in the police service. Ramaphosa has come under fire from some political parties and civil groups who've called the pending inquiry a long walk to justice. But ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula says Ramaphosa's approach is not short-sighted.
He has not resorted to populist shortcuts or destructive patches. Instead, he has chosen the harder but ultimately more sustainable path of rebuilding public institutions.
The R71 in Limpopo has been closed off to traffic following a massive crash this morning which resulted in explosions. It's understood a truck carrying gas cylinders crashed and caught fire in Mahobeskloof, resulting in multiple explosions and also setting a nearby plantation ablaze. Acting Provincial Transport spokesperson Matume Tawiatola says emergency services are on the scene working to contain the situation.
The Department of Transport and Community Safety in Limpopo urges all motorists to exercise caution and prioritize their safety. We will provide updates as more information becomes available.
And the Trump administration has deported 5 undocumented foreign nationals to the Kingdom of Eswatini. The deported men are from nationals including Vietnam, Yemen, Cuba and Jamaica. Earlier this month, the U.S. deported 8 other migrants to conflict-plagued South Sudan after the Supreme Court in the U.S. authorized the move. The court in June cleared the way for Trump's administration to resume deporting migrants to countries other than their own without offering them a chance to show the harms they could face. The decision handed the government a win in its aggressive pursuit of mass deportations. Gold is trading at $3,337.30 an ounce. The rand is at 17.95 to the dollar, 24.04 to the pound, 20.85 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $68.89 a barrel.
In your roads, due to an earlier incident, there are delays in Bedford View, specifically on the R24 east towards Tambo International. Your delays are looking around 15 minutes that you're going to be adding to your travel time. Then there's a stationary vehicle on the R24 eastbound at Galuli's interchange, as well as a stationary vehicle on the N1 southbound. This is specifically on the Western Bypass after the ramp from Maresburg Road. Roadworks on the N1 southbound are meeting Bears Nordia. Off-ramp is currently slowing you down. It's down to one lane being blocked. However, that is being dealt with throughout the afternoon. In traffic, lights out in Bramley, Corlett and Oxford is currently out, as well as Rand Park Ridge is seeing the N1 North and Bears Nordia, as well as N1 North and Malibongwe. Remember to report any traffic problems on X at EWN Traffic, or alternatively SMS on 31702. For EWM Traffic, I am Matt Flax.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng, peaking at highs between 21 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: the EFF has sent President Cyril Ramaphosa a lawyer's letter asking him to clarify his actions in relation to suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Walk through history, walk with it. Sunday, 27 July, 7:02 Walk the Talk. Hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. More on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 11 o'clock, welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela show. I have asked Marshall Dlamini, the EFF's Secretary General, to stay with us for a couple more minutes so that we can at least play maybe 3 or so of your WhatsApp voice notes. I just want him to respond to some of the questions that have come through. So Marshall, thank you so much for agreeing to stay for a few more minutes. There's someone who asked about whether or not you regret the decisions you took as the EFF to parachute prominent figures like Advocate Mkhwebane, Kalp Niehaus and Mzwandile Manyi, 2 of whom have since left the organization. Is there regret there?
Yeah, that was wrong. that was wrong, and as an organization, we'll continue trying to correct where we made that mistake. Carl is with us. Is a leader, and he's got credentials of being a leader. But these other ones, they just came, and I think we take responsibility as leadership that even when you make mistakes, you must be able to say, this one, we think it was a mistake, and we'll continue doing that and assessing a situation as the time goes, and we're leading a living organization. So we have to deal with the issues as they come, and we'll continue doing that and accounting to our members. We went to a conference to give that state of accountability as well in December, to say in the last term this is where we think we could have done better, and we're given another mandate to say continue. We're glad that we are listening leadership. We listen to our members, including our voters.
Good morning, Marshall. Good morning. Thank you very much for restoring the dignity of a black child and black people. Thank you so much for fighting for our freedom and for our dignity. I have always voted for the EFF since its inception, and I will continue to do so. It's Jabulisile from Midrand. Thank you very much. I hole EFF, I hole.
Good day, Clement. Good day, Chilendas. Revolutionary greetings to the Secretary General. Might I add the proper Secretary General, not these things of former Secretary Generals and whatnot. So yeah, I think a lot of parties are envying EFF with its great Secretary General. My partner was a first-time voter, and the party that she told me that she voted for was the EFF, and it's been long. I told her she has to vote. Either way, she's a ID carrying South African citizen. Why is it that she's not voting? And she said she couldn't find a party that resonated with her. I said, go through the EFF manifesto and read through it, and actually look into what works for you. So, and then she decided that EFF is the one.
Good morning, Mr. Manyathela. Hamilton here in Springs. I've been a member of an EFF for quite a long time, since the time of Jacob Zuma, since he was a president. My question to the leadership there in the studio, why don't you open unions? Because already all these unions that are under ANC are already compromised. They take bribes. It's right in front of us. But when the whites hear that this union are coming from EFF, they will do what is right. Please, Hamilton here in Springs.
Thank you, Hamilton. Marshall?
Look, we dealt with the issue of opening unions, and our belief in the conference result that we have to allow workers to organize themselves. The EFF, as a political party, it must align with workers. It's in our founding manifesto.
Don't you have a labor desk?
We've got a labor desk where we are dealing with the issues of the workers. But to go and create a structure with leadership and people coming there, we, as an organization, we don't want to do that. And then we found those people doing the same thing where they call themselves union only to find out that they've been bought by the bosses who continue to exploit our people in the factories and then in the farms and everywhere else. We said we want to allow, we'll continue supporting the workers through our labor desk, which is doing a great job. Our GBV desk is doing a great job in its space there to support the victims of gender-based violence. So we've allowed that space that let's not form a union. Let's continue. It's a political party and have a labor desk that is there only for the purposes of assisting our people. Because even with the labor desk, we'll find out that some people that they claim to have unions is the people that have sold out workers. We know what took place in Marikana. The unions were there, but they turned against the workers. We know what happens in everywhere else where there's retrenchments and everywhere else. Unions are nowhere to be found. So we're not rushing into that space. Let the workers organize themselves. We've got a labor desk and we'll continue supporting all progressive unions. We work with SAFTU. They come and say these are programs and we support them and we join them on their struggles, because we must not be obsessed of running our people and even get to a space of misleading them. We've got a clear program of delivering on the 7 non-negotiable cardinal pillars, and that is our focus. That's what we are seized with, of building a strong organization that ultimately will liberate the people of this country by making sure that first and foremost the land is returned to the rightful owners of this country.
Marshal Dlamini, EFF Secretary General, thank you so much for making time for us. Next time we'll push it for 2 hours.
No problem. Thank you very much for inviting us.
I really appreciate your time. It's
Thank
15 minutes now after 11 o'clock.
Burning questions.
Insightful answers.
Listener's choice.
With Clement Manyathela.
Time now for our Listener's Choice feature. Today we're discussing AI hallucinations in law, right? Artificial intelligence tools are becoming more and more integrated in society, but also they're raising some concerns in the legal profession. Legal authorities in South Africa are now sounding alarm after judges in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal found that legal practitioners had submitted court papers referencing entirely fictitious case law generated by AI. Even the Legal Practice Council is warning that such conduct, whether it's deliberate or not, could amount to misleading the court, and one of the most serious offenses really in the legal profession. So incidents like this are referred to as AI hallucinations. So hallucinations are when you've got artificial tools generating convincing but entirely false legal case law. So are you in the legal profession? How do you use AI? Have you found yourself in this situation before? Give us a call or send a WhatsApp voice note. 011-883-0702 is the number you can dial. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. Azar Aziz Ismail is the chairperson of the Johannesburg Attorneys Association on behalf of the Law Society of South Africa and joins us on the line. Azar, thank you so much for making time. Hi.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
So, I tried to explain what AI hallucinations are in the legal context. You are the lawyer. Help us understand what are they and why is it that we've got lawyers that have found themselves citing these non-existent case laws?
Thank you so much. So I think the first thing to understand is when it comes to AI hallucinations, we sometimes work under the misapprehension, generally as people, that the tools that we have give us the correct information. Now, what happens with artificial intelligence, and particularly generative AI, is it's not going to admit to you in that chatbot that, listen, I don't know what the answer is, right? But it's going to try and impress you. And out of thin air, it creates, like you mentioned, the most convincing arguments or pieces of information. And that is the hallucination. And in the legal context, some examples are it creates case law that doesn't exist, so it will create the name of cases that don't exist, or it might have parts of the name correctly. So if, for example, someone told you to look for the Mzwandile case, right, and you ask generative AI for it, it will say Mzwandile versus Radio 702. You wouldn't know the better if you didn't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get the citations correct, but then the interpretation is completely fabricated and inaccurate. So we're seeing this happening because there is a trust in the tools that people have, but what we don't have is an understanding of what the tools are there for, what strengths are, and also an acknowledgement of where the weaknesses of those tools lie.
Yeah. How serious is this issue, though? I mean, we've had 2 recent cases in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal where lawyers submitted these false case citations generated by AI. How serious is the issue, and what are the potential consequences for legal practitioners who engage in this practice?
So this is extremely serious. And like you mentioned, those 2 recent cases in KwaZulu-Natal was the Mzwandile judgment, and in Gauteng was northbound processing cases. And before that, at the match court level last year, we had another case called Parker versus Forsyth. And this is not only a South Africa problem, it's a problem that we're seeing all over the world. And in these cases, this is one sort of form of problems of using AI in law, but lawyers submitted fictitious cases and citations generated by AI to the court. And this not only undermines our court processes, but it also erodes public trust in the legal profession.
Yeah.
And where this is extremely problematic as well, is the courts have came correctly so to say that all citations generated by AI must be thoroughly verified before use. As lawyers, we've got a duty to make sure that we are not misrepresenting the court. And that misrepresentation to the court could result in misconduct. And the consequences of that are extremely grave. And this is not only the stance locally in South Africa. I mean, we've had the case law in South Africa, but across the world, in the US, the UK, and everywhere that we're seeing where cases like this are taking place, the stance is clear. If you should not be using this case law without verifying and doing your due diligence, and otherwise you will be misleading the court, and each jurisdiction has different ways of dealing with this misconduct.
Okay. So are there any guidelines, though, or frameworks in place to help legal professionals navigate the ethical use of AI tools?
So at present, in South Africa at least, there's no formal binding or guidelines for lawyers in using AI in legal practice. However, the Law Society of South Africa is actively working to address this gap, and the Law Society is in the process of establishing an AI committee who is going to be charged with developing guidelines for lawyers aligned with local and international best practices, looking at case law, but also looking at an African approach to AI and a South African approach to AI, because that's something that's quite important. But until these are in place, legal practitioners should rely on well-established best standards that the courts have alluded to as well. And if I could just take a moment to sort of share what some of the things that lawyers should be doing when using AI. Now, this obviously is an interpretation from the Mzwandile judgment, but a few things that must be done, because the court did not say don't use AI, but there are certain expectations. The first thing is verification of information. All information or citations that are generated must be verified by legal practitioners. And aligned with the verification comes something separate called due diligence. If the case exists, you need to do due diligence to review the accuracy of the information presented by that AI tool, and you need to make sure that its interpretation is correct. There are other things that can be done, that must be done. Lawyers have a duty per our code of conduct to supervise our staff and our junior lawyers. But there is an argument to be made that supervision should also extend to the inputs and outputs on our AI tools. We must comply with ethical standards of the legal profession, because the legal profession has these high standards of integrity and diligence. There needs to be transparency, whether you're using AI internally within your firm or transparency also externally with your clients. You need to tell your clients, listen, I am using generative AI, but you know what, these are the guardrails and safety techniques that I'm taking to ensure that we're verifying information. So putting the comfort and trust in the use of AI. It must be used responsibly as a skeleton and as a starting point, but not the sole purpose and basis of legal work. And a big one is the confidentiality and data privacy and data protection, because we've got legal privilege, we've got confidentiality that we must align to. And because of all of these factors, law firms should actually look to create and develop policies around how to use AI, as opposed to banning the use of AI and then people going incognito and trying to use AI on their own irresponsibly. All
right, it's 23 minutes after 11 o'clock. After the break, I'd like to hear from you. If you are in the legal profession, how do you use AI? Are what does responsible use of AI look like in the legal practice? How do you strike that balance between encouraging innovation, but also ensuring there's ethical conduct that is maintained? You can send a WhatsApp voice notes on 072-702-1702 or give me a call, 011-883-0702.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
End, is this not like any other decision that a government department or indeed a private entity might have to make? We have X amounts of money. We have needs that cost X plus. Is there a view in the South African health leadership that this is the best way to spend the money?
The South African government actually hasn't been bad on this. The health minister has been very vocal that he believes lenacapavir will be a game changer. The question now is we need a lot more than what they can give us.
Mia Melange.
John Perlman,
3 to 6 on 702.
The world's biggest economies, the G20, under the bold theme Solidarity, Equality and Sustainability. But this is more than a slogan. It's a call to action for solidarity, uniting nations through shared purpose, equality, creating fair opportunities for all, sustainability, growing today without costing tomorrow. As G20 president, South Africa is focused on 3 key priorities: inclusive economic growth and jobs, food security for every table, and using artificial intelligence for sustainable innovation. South Africa, leading the G20, shaping a better world. A message by the GCIS.
My family's struggling with snotty noses and phlegmy coughs.
Oh no! Have you tried ACC?
ACC 600 is a convenient one-a-day effervescent tablet from 14 years of age, or now also in a no water needed fruity flavored sherbet-like granules that dissolve in your mouth. Ideal for the on-the-go adult. Ask for ACC 600 effervescent or oral powder at your nearest pharmacy to get rid of the snotties and flemmings. And trust, if it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
Burning questions.
Insightful answers.
Listener's choice.
With Clement Manyathela.
26 minutes after 11 o'clock, we're discussing AI hallucinations in law. There are a few cases that have come up where lawyers are using case law that is fictitious, non-existent, that is generated by AI. What are the consequences? What are the limitations? How do you balance the use of AI with just ethical conduct and making sure that that is maintained? Advocate Matsiza, you're calling us from Johannesburg. Good morning.
Hi, how are you, Clement?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
Yes, Clement, you see the artificial intelligence and legal profession, I don't think they can ever go well, because the decided cases are mostly written, and at first one reliable source will be Safely for that matter, because and then that's where most of the reported cases that one can refer to can go to. Secondly, one can approach each and every court that we use in South Africa have got libraries. You can even approach the library, because the legal practice is not artificial on its own. It is all about the personal intellect. You need to embrace the intellect that the person brings. But if one is going to rely there, it's not gonna work. What I normally do is I would carry my books to court, and then I will also make sure that I have got my data and then my router, and make sure that I research through Safely the reliable sources where I will get the case that I can also refer to the judge and even come up with a citation. But these citations that are going to be used, we are going to breed lawyers who are not going to be able to argue before a court of law, and then that is going to cause disservice to the clients. It's just going to be a chaos. So we need to, as well as we need to rely on reliable sources like your Safely, and then there are a lot of them. It's just that Safely is the one that is mostly used, and then the Constitutional Court have got its own website wherein you can go and download the case laws and read there. There's one popular case law of they call it, I know it of it, it's Erven 87 and 88. It's there. It's something that you can go and upload and read. So we have got these people who think that you can Google law and then just go on the Google and said, what should happen if Clement insulted me? And then there's Wikipedia, which will tell you, okay, if Clement have insulted you, you can do this and this. Sometimes it's the laws that are applied in other countries and not in the Republic. So we have
to be careful.
We have to be careful on the sources that we use. So AI is not for lawyers. As a lawyer, and if you're using AI, I would say you are a bad lawyer, and then you don't deserve to
I don't want the lawyer representing me using AI on its own. Advocate, I don't know. I think I'd say thanks, but no thanks. But yeah, as Azar has said, I mean, the technology evolves. At some point, we need to learn to embrace the responsible use of AI, even in legal practice. I've got some messages here coming through. Paul says, "Hi, Clement. I'm a deceased estates administrator, and I only use AI for grammar when sending out emails to clients. For some reason, I can notice when an L&D has been drafted using AI. That's a message there from Paul. Another one says, "Hi Clement, I used AI to dispute a rejection claim, LOL. Long story short, I went through 3 stages of the dispute stages quoting AI, and my matter was about to sit in a committee when the legal department of the insurer called and advised that the regulation I'm arguing under doesn't exist. To my defense, I did hire a lawyer to go through my argument. They advised that I had legal grounds and we proceeded with the dispute, but the claim was still rejected based on local regulation. When I researched further, AI had used an American regulation for my argument, but even the lawyer didn't pick it up. Lucky for me, the insurer settled out of committee out of compassion for my claim. Jeez, yeah. As you've said, sometimes AI will pick up some cases that are not even on our local regulations. Just last question someone has, Azza, who says they're a young lawyer who could make a genuine mistake when using AI. What would be your advice, especially to young lawyers, as they consider this?
I think for young lawyers, the key thing is to always verify and check your information. And also, it's how you use the tool and what tools are there. I mean, I've been listening to some of those comments that have been coming through, which are quite interesting. And it's all down to the type of technology, what are the strengths of the AI platform that you're using, how you prompt it. The way that artificial intelligence works is what you put in is what you get out. If you give it a very basic prompt, it's going to search the entire world and give you things from everywhere, and it's going to make you think it's relevant to you. But if you really refine and spend time in crafting a prompt, it's like a science or an art, you can really extract that information that's for you. But ultimately, AI is not here to replace you as a lawyer. You should not be using this as a shortcut. You should not be using it for excuse. So for not only for young lawyers, but for lawyers in general, when we do use this, you need to make sure that you follow these basic principles that, 1, you understand the technology that you're using. 2, you're prompting it really strongly. 3, when that output comes in, it's not only about now just running wild with it and using it as it is. You still need to, like the advocate mentioned earlier, you have to have that legal mind that goes onto it, that human legal mind that applies to it, amend it, build onto it, verify, fact check. Those things does happen. The purpose of AI is just to help you be a lot more quicker and efficient in delivering quality.
Azza Aziz Ismail, thank you for making time for us, chairperson of the Johannesburg Attorneys Association, on behalf of the Law Society of South Africa. 11:32. Coming up next, we get into our sharing space feature, and here's a question for you. What do you do when you discover your friend or maybe a cousin has been posting about your belongings as if it's theirs, and they've blocked you on that platform, whatever it is, whether WhatsApp or Instagram, so that you don't discover that? There's a fascinating story one of our listeners is sharing that we'll listen to it after the headlines. Khomotso, hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The EFF has sent President Cyril Ramaphosa a lawyer's letter asking him to clarify his actions in relation to Police Minister Senzo Mchunu leave of absence. The party does not believe Ramaphosa's actions related to his cabinet in the wake of corruption allegations against Mchunu are sound in law. Primarily, the EFF argues that Ramaphosa doesn't have the powers to put a minister on special leave. As voting begins today for a hotly contested seat in the Polokwane municipality, some residents say they're being used by political parties. Polokwane's Ward 13 seat is up for grabs following the expulsion of an EFF councillor. The Juju Valley informal settlement with more than 1,000 people has been the focus of the political parties' campaigns for today's by-election. And the R71 in Limpopo has been closed to traffic following a massive crash this morning, which resulted in explosions. It's understood a truck carrying gas cylinders crashed and caught fire in Magubeskloof, resulting in a nearby plantation being set alight. Those are the headlines this EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Looking at your roads, there's an incident in Bedfordview that we've been covering right the way throughout the morning. And to start off with good news, it has been dealt with. This is on the R24 east towards OR Tambo International. Delays are still remaining, though, with 10 minutes that we're currently seeing. On the M2 West in Selby, there's still traffic delays that are pushing your travel times up by 10 minutes on approach. Then if we look at your traffic lights out, currently in Midrand, K101 and Allendale still remains out. Rand Park Ridge is seeing the N1 and Bears Nordia, this both north and south interchanges out. And then in Randburg, Riverbend and Witkoppen is currently seeing lights out. Remember to report any traffic problems that you may come across. This is on 31702. For EWN Traffic, I am Matt Flax.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Sharing Space
On the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
25 minutes before 12 o'clock, time for the Sharing Space. The Sharing Space is a feature that we do around this time every Wednesday, where we share our own stories. Stories of what happened at home, in the car driving to work, when you were on holiday, when you were with your partner. It could be anything. When you were at work, anything that you think would be of interest to the listeners of the Clement Manyathela Show. Or sometimes you may need advice. You're caught in a conundrum and you're trying to figure out a way out and you want some advice. You can just reach us. Send us an email on cm@702.co.za to share your story. The producers will get in touch with you and will arrange for that story to be shared on the Sharing Space. Today, we've got this story. After you listen to this WhatsApp voice note, let's talk. You can give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note.
Hi, Clemens. I hope you're well. I'd like to remain anonymous, please. I recently bought a new car. It's my dream car and all of my friends and family love it too. On the day of picking it up, I took pictures and shared them with my friends and loved ones and often posted on my WhatsApp and Instagram stories. Recently, one of my friends started posting pictures of my car as though it were hers. She seemingly blocked me and all of my friends from seeing her statuses, so we didn't know this was happening. But luckily, she forgot to block one of our mutual friends who knew it was my car. The mutual friend then let me know that my friend was posting these pictures with captions that suggest that it was her car and was strategically cropping out pictures where I was in the car so that she could fool people into believing that it was her. The mutual friend took screenshots of the posts, and my friend was even thanking people who were congratulating her. When I confronted her, my friend said that she was just playing around because people are gullible. But I found this to be a very weird explanation, and I don't buy it. I'm now thinking of her in a different light and think she may be jealous of me and wants my life. Should I end our friendship?
Is she jealous? Okay, cool. So, Anonymous bought a new car, picked up that the friend has been posting pictures of the car as if it's hers. So this friend seems to be fooling people into believing that her friend's belongings are hers, and she has actually blocked the friend and other mutual friends from seeing her statuses because, of course, that's weird. And when she was confronted, she says she was playing around. So Anonymous wants to know, could she be jealous? Yeah, this is quite a tricky one. I don't know where I stand there. What do you think? 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. And how do you think Anonymous must deal with this? Do you have friends like that, by the way, who post about your house or your car, your other belongings as if those belong to them? Do you have friends who do that? And how do you navigate that? I mean, it's a little awkward. I think maybe the friend is just proud. I don't know. For some reason, I want to give the other friend the benefit of the doubt here. But my question then is, why are you blocking this same friend? You're busy posting about her car as if it's yours, but you're blocking her. Then for me, that is quite suspicious. I don't think the friend is necessarily jealous. Maybe the friend is under pressure to portray herself in a particular way towards other people, and that's why she's posting your belongings as if they belong to hers. But I do think it happens sometimes. Maybe you're under pressure. I don't know. What do you think? It's quite a tricky one. But I hope the friendship doesn't end. I hope you guys can resolve it. Give us a call on 011-883-0702. Share your own experience if you've had a friend like that. 072-702-1702 is the WhatsApp line. 20 minutes before 12.
Themba,
How do I check if I've been auto-assessed by SARS?
No need to stress at all. Go to the SARS online query system dashboard, SOX. It only takes a few minutes.
Really? Where do I find it?
Go to the SARS website and then look for the SOX dashboard icon. Make tax matters your priority number one. Go to sars.gov.za and say goodbye to queues. SARS, at your service.
This year, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival offers you 3 days of the heart and art of jazz from the 26th to the 28th of September across 4 stages at the Sandton Convention Center. Esperanza Spalding, the Baylor Project, Jasmine Horn, Alune Wade, Steve Bedi, Michelle Denjieshelo, Steve Dyer featuring Amazwi 8 Choir, Gabi Mutuba, the Fishermen Orchestra, and over 50 world-class acts will be expecting you and yours. Take me there. Buy your ticket. +1 at Ticketmaster now.
The Sharing Space
On the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
Let's go to your WhatsApps and your calls. What do you make of the story that one of our listeners is sharing with us? Is the friend being jealous? Would you be angry? Have you been there? What advice do you have for her?
Hello, Clement and the team. Clement, I wouldn't say she's jealous, brother. Maybe she's just admiring her, but she wishes it was her car. But I wouldn't say she's jealous. I know. Don't block it. Don't be like that. It's nothing bad. Maybe she dreams of that car too, or maybe if it was her car. But blocking it, it's a bit of extreme, eh? There's nothing wrong about that, really. My name is Tebogo from Shawela. Clement, thank you.
Yeah, Debs, I also think that maybe the friend is just maybe inspired and, just loves your life. Not so much that they're jealous. The only issue I have is, why is she blocking you? Why is she blocking you? That is quite suspicious. Maybe she's embarrassed. Stanley, you're in Sandton. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
Yes. Now, Clement, I think I would agree with you with pressure, that she is under pressure, and maybe she's also looking at her life and thinking it's taking too long for her, and then other people around her are making progress. But there's also, Clement, the issue that we hardly discuss around the self-mastery. It's the basic of every individual life. If you don't have that, you're going to get worried even when your friends are posting pictures of your car, not even your car, like they've taken a car. It's just pictures on the Facebook. Certain things are worth ignoring for the sake of your friendship, Clement.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Stanley in Sandton, thank you for your thoughts.
Hi, Clement and the listeners. Direct message to Anonymous, or to the lady who's sent the message. Your friend's not jealous of you. Your friend has mental health issues, sincerely, not in a derogatory way. Stay friends with her. Try and find a way to get her help, as in a psychologist or psychiatrist. Speak to her mom, speak to her loved ones, get her help. Shame. Can't be a good feeling. Anyway, have a nice day. Nick, Pretoria.
Good morning, Clement. To the anonymous lady, I don't think it's jealousy. She envies her life, so she must be proud that someone still looks up to her. She mustn't end the friendship.
Hey, Clement. I think it's just this thing of the toxicity of social media. We always want to portray ourselves as perfect, or our lives is glamorous and all that. So I think it's just the pressure of trying to impress people. We don't know, with people with money that we don't have, and that thing. Social media is eating away into our self-esteem and all that. I think it's just one of those. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's something. I do think that there are people who are under pressure because they see their friends, people they went to school with, posting their things, and you somehow feel like you need to live up to those standards, which is not cool, because what happens next? Like, what are you going to do next to try and portray a lifestyle that isn't yours. Olela, you're in Bedford View. What are your thoughts? Good morning.
Morning, Clement. I don't think there's much to it, actually. I'm blaming social media as well, that the friend is trying to portray a certain narrative about the life that they have. It is a bit of a cringe, though, that they blocked the friend from seeing the post. But I don't think the friend should end the friendship just because of that.
Yeah. So ukhulume naye though, they spoke, and then the other friend says, "Yeah, I was just playing around." So must the friend then just let it go, or tell her, "Please don't ever do this again"?
She must let it go. It's really not that deep. Yeah.
Okay, let it go. It's not that deep, Anonymous. More of your WhatsApps.
Dumela Clement and team, Kingsley from Germiston. Na potso ya ka engwe, snotlolo se tshwere ke mang? I mean, that's the beginning and the end of the sharing space as far as I'm concerned. With all due respect, snotlolo se tshwere ke mang, koloi ke ya mang? Ho sa kgathalehe hore na Anonymous dinepe tsa koloi ya hae di sharwa ke mang? Snotlolo se tshwere ke yena. Ha ska belaela. And if indeed she is considering ending the friendship, then it means that this person wasn't worth having as a friend in the first place. Kingsley from Germiston. Away.
Yeah, Kingsley says, "Listen, who owns the car? It's your car. You've got the keys." So that closes the chapter. Yeah, I don't know, guys, but I think I would also feel a bit like, if you're busy posting my stuff as if it's yours and you've blocked me, it's a little suspicious. Do I end the friendship with you? I don't think so. But I think we would be due for a chat.
Hello, Clement. Yeah, no, I maybe it's a women thing, but there's no jealousy here. It's weird that she blocked, but obviously she knew. Maybe she was embarrassed. What will the friend say when she sees that I'm posting as if it's my car? We've done that. We do that. My friends have asked me to host people at my place, and I've been completely okay with it. I'll even leave them at the house. Let them feel free and do whatever it is that they want. This thing it's not that deep, guys.
Clemza, I think Anonymous is insecure about herself, and I think her friend is getting more feedback about this car than Anonymous herself. I think she has insecurity problems. Yeah, Marlon, yeah, in Bramfontein, my brother. Have a good one.
Good morning, Clement. So, Clement, my wife is the first of 4 daughters. Her and her sister, the third one. Our daughter with my wife and her firstborn son share birthday. Might not necessarily be the same year, but the same day. And then it turned out that our son also and her second-born daughter also share a birthday. It might not be the same year also, but it's the same day. So I thought this was fantastic. I thought this was such a huge coincidence, but she didn't like it. And when I asked her why she didn't like it, was because she wanted her children's birthday to be something special. She didn't want it to be shared with the other, her nieces and nephews. So I'm assuming this is the same thing that's happening with Anonymous. The problem is actually with Anonymous and not with the friend. Anonymous doesn't want the friend to shine on her shine. That's what it sounds like to me. Thank you.
Morning, Clement. That friend just like things. I don't think really she is jealous. It's just that she wants nice things and she cannot afford them.
Hi, Clement. This is Calvin. I wouldn't bother with that kind of a situation. I don't think the friend is jealous. She's just under pressure, maybe, but I wouldn't be bothered by that. And the reason why she's blocking her, it's because she's unsure of how would she react if she sees what she's posting. But the car is with her, the car is hers. That shouldn't bother her. And she's always with the car. And in any case, one way or the other, people will see, the other friends will see that the car doesn't belong to the other friend. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, I can see. I think a lot of us have some sympathy for the friend. Yeah, I do have some sympathy for the friend because I wonder what's going on. I wonder, is it pressure? But also, we mustn't allow and give in to pressure like that, because what happens next? Are you going to steal money so that you can look a particular way? I worry about what's the threshold, what's the limit, what's next. So I hope the friend, like once you've had a chat with the friend, I think you should have a chat with the friend again, and make her understand that that's not normal. Like, that's very weird. So yeah, it's a little weird. Yeah. I'll take more of your calls and WhatsApps after this.
Dear Journal, day 4602 of trying to be an adult. My doctor asked me how my quality of rest is at the moment. I told him I have two problems. I struggle to sleep at night, but I also struggle to awake at day.
Aggressively realizing your age? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's simple and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Want to celebrate Women's Day in style? Then get your tickets at Grammy as Grammy Award-winning singers Anthony Hamilton and Joe Thomas come together to celebrate the incredible women of Mzansi on the 9th of August. It's happening at the iconic DP World Wanderers Stadium in Sandton. They will be joined by South Africa's multi-award-winning singers, the incomparable Zonke, Sjava and Vusinova. Get your tickets now on CompuTicket or webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by Soulful Night, Vetex Events and 702.
What does extraordinary mean to you?
Is it enabling world-class healthcare through telemedicine?
Or empowering the delivery of water and electricity through smart meters?
AI, cloud, enterprise apps, IoT and security. One seamless ecosystem. Together, let's build the extraordinary that sustains today and protects tomorrow. Start your journey at vodacombusiness.co.za. Further together, Vodacom Business.
It's time to honor our past and step into a shared future as a team. Corporate and team entries for this year's 702 Walk the Talk are still open. Gather your colleagues together on Sunday, the 27th of July, to walk through the historic Freedom Park Heritage Site, past the national landmarks, and finish at the Union Buildings. For corporate entries, visit primemediaplus.com. 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park Heritage Site in the city of Tshwane, where footsteps become footprints.
The Sharing Space
On the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
8 minutes before 12, more of your WhatsApps.
Good morning, Clement. Clement, there's no issue here. The very same reason why the lady sent you this text to say maybe her friend is jealous of her is the same reason why the other friend did block her. She posted her car as if it's her own. Because somehow she thinks, or once she does that, this one is going to blow off and start being angry, and that's why she just didn't want to see. She just didn't want the friend to see, or she's posting her car. Honestly, this is not an issue. It's like me when I see somebody posting a beautiful house and I admire the house. I can just take a picture, but I'll ask for a permission to post it. But I would take a picture and keep it on my phone as an inspiration, not because I'm jealous.
Good day, Clement and the team. Very interesting topic indeed. Yeah, Clem, I do have that kind of friend, man. He goes around telling people that the girlfriend that I'm currently having, it's his. He also shows people the pictures of my girlfriend, telling them that is his. He also posts my girlfriend's and hide me from seeing, his status. Yeah, this is Maxwell in Q.
No, what? No ways. Like, how do you fake like someone being your girlfriend, and then you erase? And now with this advent of technology, I'm sure you can just erase someone from a picture. You can just remove them so easily, and then you claim your friend's girlfriend is yours. What's going on? This world, my goodness. Also, I wonder if Anonymous's friend was putting captions. Because if the caption said, "Oh, I'm so excited, just got my new car." I'm sorry. then my attitude changes towards this friend. Right? If the caption says, "Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you God for blessing me with a new car." Okay, that is really strange. If you're just posting the car that's not yours, even though you're creating an impression that it is yours but it's your friend's, okay, I'm sure I can forgive you. I think I can forgive you. But if you're gonna go the extra mile and write a caption that clearly indicates lies, then that is very strange. I'm uncomfortable around you as a friend.
Clement, I've been in situations where this lady of her car is in Mamela. It starts ngezinto ezincane and then iyakhula lento. And jealousy is jealousy, envy is envy. And I'm sorry, those are the signs that are very toxic, and somehow let go. It's good to admire and compliment and say, "Hey Choma, I'm gonna post this and I'm gonna edit you out and create it as if it's mine," and all that. But where you block somebody, vicious,
Vicious. Yeah, no.
Hello, Clement and the listeners. This topic, there's a thin line between envy and jealousy. If she was proud of her friend's successes, posting the car, why would she block the friend? And also, why can't she take another car from somewhere, and post it? There's all these things, photoshops and everything. There's something problematic with this. Thank you, Mabatu from Northgate.
Oh, by the way, I'm being told that apparently when the friend was being congratulated, she was saying thank you. So people were like, "Hey, congratulations, Chomi, on the patches of a new car." And she was like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Maybe friend is not okay. No, D Chomi is probably not fine. So, because that's just weird. Like, how do you lie like that with a serious face? Huh?
Clement, this is a huge red flag. Something is wrong there. This friend could have used any other picture of any car, even if it's the same model. Why specifically have friends a car and pictures? Why block the friends? There's something wrong there. There's something wrong about this friend. You see, that's how people end up sometimes eating poison, because they keep friends like this and ignore red flags even when they see them. It's not correct. It's improper. It's very improper. It can and she cannot continue ignoring that red flag. I honestly think she must begin to look at his friend in a different light.
Morning, Clement and 702. This friend is pure evil. This is not even jealous. It's on another level. Because if it was an honest appreciation and coming from a good heart, she wasn't supposed to block anyone. We have posted our friends' achievements and things. We have made it public because they allowed us, or they made it public. If it's coming from a good heart, she was not supposed to hide the others. So what are her reasons for hiding the friend and the other friends, and what are her intentions? And if you get that and you're trying to fool people, what kind of a life are you living? She's so fake. She's not a friend. Everything, even the smiles that she's sharing, they are fake.
Yeah, maybe we must host a dialogue, a mediation of sorts between Anonymous and the friend, hey? Because I'm honestly now conflicted. The fact that this friend still says, "Oh, thank you," when she's being congratulated about stuff that doesn't belong to her, that's cringeworthy.
Coming up
on the Midday Report.
Coming up next, the Midday Report with Sidi Madia. How you doing?
I'm okay. I just want to weigh in.
Yes?
I want to defend the poor friend
Yeah.
who's flossing with a car that doesn't belong to her. She's merely just flossing. I agree with a lot of the guys.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, who's got the keys? Get over it.
Yeah, who's got the keys?
Hi, man.
What if she put up that, "God, thank you for blessing me
Look
with
at
this
God.
car." Look at God.
No comment.
What's popping, vandaag?
A lot to do with the police still. I think we'll be stuck here for a very long time to come. So we'll go to the police portfolio committee in Parliament that's deliberating over General Mkhwanazi's allegations. We'll speak to the DA. The DA says that it's received communication. Remember last week, they laid a claim, a criminal complaint. So they seem to have received communication from the police that actually an investigation is underway. But we'll also speak to the police about how many of these are actually before it. And then there's a lot of letters that have found their way to the president's office. The MKP, the EFF, with the MKP actually even saying they want the president himself, never mind to withdraw, urgently withdraw their public address on Sunday, but to also resign. The EFF calling questions, a lot of question marks rather, about the appointment of an acting police minister. And we'll go to Limpopo, where the SCCP is contesting in by-elections as they pursue elections on their own outside of the ANC.
Yeah, thank you. That's Sidi Madia coming up on the midday report. I'm going to wrap up with Uleboheng, who says, Clement, I love how the women are clocking this quickly and the men are more chilled. Well, it's the men in Sidi that are more chilled about this. Thank you for listening to the show. We'll be back tomorrow between 9 and 12. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Khomotso Modise. The EFF has sent President Cyril Ramaphosa a lawyer's letter asking him to clarify his actions in relation to suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. The party does not believe Ramaphosa's actions related to his cabinet in the work of the corruption allegations against Mchunu